Freeman and
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of my friends around the globe. We are here after the game. Usually I am not on the post game, but I think this time of year it's warranted. And I actually do have some time and I am not busy. Thank you, God. Thank you. I'm finally slowing down a little bit. And of course, we are here to talk Dodger baseball. The Dodgers went into Milwaukee. And what can I say? What can we say? A game that I don't even know if the word weird, I don't know if the weird and inconceivable, I don't know if incomparable, I don't even know what to make of this game. We saw a couple things that we haven't seen in a while, or that I shouldn't say that we don't see regularly. We also saw things I had no idea existed. So, and I still don't even know what happened. And I think I got a little bit of it when I was watching the post game on TBS with the crew there. But this game should have been over much earlier than it was. And Blake Snell, got to start with Blake Snell before I get into the juicy details here. Blake Snell has the path at this moment in having a Sandy Koufax type run this year. They're going to have to win it all for it to warrant that comparison. But Blake Snell tonight was as dominant as I've seen a pitcher in a very long time. And seeing him go 8 innings, that's the part where I couldn't believe seeing him go into the 8th. I was just saying, hey, if Snell gets to 7 before the game, and I usually say that anyways, he gets to 6 with no runs, hey, you gotta finish this off, right? Especially if you're expecting 2 or 3 runs, which is what I was expecting. Actually, I was expecting 3 or 4, really, but I'll get to that in a minute. But Snell never wavered. He never showed a single time where he was in trouble. Even the single that he gave up early in the game, he got that in a pickoff. So he was essentially 3-3-3-3-3 all the way through the 8th. That is Jack Morris 1991 Game 7 stuff going into the late innings with John Smoltz. I got to give props to John Smoltz in that World Series. I mean, he was toe-to-toe, right? So, my God, what the hell? Like, seriously, every single conceivable thing that could have gone somebody's way happened to the Milwaukee Brewers. And the fact that the Dodgers won this game despite all that, and it wasn't the few times the ump got the wrong strike call. It wasn't the fact that there was a couple of bad swings from whoever. No. Has nothing to do with that. That bases loaded, what should have been a bases clearing hit turned into something where you're just sitting there going, at what point as a sports fan are we going to see everything in our life? I saw Pete Carroll decide to throw the ball at the 1 yard line in the Super Bowl when he had Marshawn Lynch ready to walk in for a Super Bowl win. I saw 28-3 with little over 2 minutes left in the third quarter in the Super Bowl 50, I think it was Super Bowl 51 with Atlanta against the Patriots, and we all know what happened there. Every time I think I've seen everything, and this isn't to that level, obviously, those are huge stakes, but it's the randomness. It's the what the hell was this scenario? How did this happen? How the hell does a guy attempt to catch the ball? It hits the wall, then he catches it, and then he has a bullet come out of nowhere, and everyone's standing around not knowing what's going on. And I can't blame him. I cannot blame anyone in this scenario. I didn't know what was going on. Is it a catch? I didn't know I still didn't know it was a catch or a hit until just now. It turns out that he caught the ball or he missed the catch, and then as soon as the ball got out of his glove and it hit the wall, that's a hit. So all those guys could have scored had they known. Had they have known, it would have been a bases clearing hit. But because he attempted to catch it, missed it, it hit the wall, went into his glove, they couldn't see. They couldn't see that it was a hit. They thought he caught it and were confused and didn't know what was going on. So I can't blame the Dodgers. I can't blame Teo. I can't blame Will Smith for not knowing what you can't. It was such a weird play. And the only good thing about this at this point is obviously that the Dodgers won. By the way, for those of you who just got in and didn't know what's going on, the Dodgers beat the Milwaukee Brewers in Milwaukee today 2-1. And while that was at that point the most drama that was going on, the Dodgers were coasting through 8, and then Roberts put in Roki to close the game out. And I'm going to get into this, guys. And there were the Roberts mob was forming, and I was talking to Empire Jeff about this. I was back and forth with him. By the way, props to Empire Jeff. He's still at the hospital, seeing his mother-in-law. Just had surgery. Looks like she got out of surgery well. We'll see how the progression is on that, and I'll keep you guys updated if I hear anything. But God bless, and God bless his family. While I was talking to him, I said, this game, it was almost like divine intervention was trying to give this game to Milwaukee, yet Blake Snell's like, I ain't giving anything up. I am not giving anything up at all. And then Roki comes in, gets the first guy out, and then can't locate, and starts walking everybody. So how do you look at that? How do you look at that from a fan situation? It's always easy to look at things in hindsight, right? I wasn't upset even during the scenario, even during the situation. I wasn't upset. And you guys know I've been pretty hard on Dave Roberts for years here. I did not think Roki was going to struggle with the bottom of the lineup. A lot of righties. I was anticipating, even if he got into trouble a little bit, I would figure that he just launched that missile in his arm and get a couple of strikeouts, throwing a couple 101s. But he could not get location. It was just one of those things. And then what happened next was they brought in Blake Triton, and Blake to Blake. Tonight was the Blake and Blake show. Blake was in there, did his usual thing, walked somebody, right? And now you're sitting there thinking to yourself, what is going to happen next? And then I'm going back and forth with Jeff, and Terang is up, and Terang had already hit a bomb in the last series that catapulted the Brewers pretty much in that game and that series eventually. So I'm sitting there, I'm going, what is what is Blake going to do? Now, the first batter he had, he got ahead of the count pretty well, and then he walked him. Got ahead of the count against Terang, and then all of a sudden, I'm sitting there going, is he going to go? Is he going to do the same thing? Is he going to go 2-2, 3-2, and is he going to walk him again? I'm talking to Jeff, and I said to him, he's going to have to. The Dodgers need a miracle right now. The Dodgers need a miracle. They're going to need Terang to swing he's going to need to at least have one bad swing in this at bat. I have it on my text. And son of a gun, he swung at the high, I think it was a high 4-seam. Might have been a high 4. I don't know what it was. I lost it a little bit after that, so I don't remember. But I think it was a 4-seamer. And Terang was trying to guess. It's obvious when you swing that high, when you swing that hard, I think he was guessing 4-seam down the pipe. But Blake went high and ended up creating a bad swing, and the Dodgers win the game on a strikeout there. So my chest has been beating like a drum for about 2 weeks. Didn't feel nervous, obviously, in the Cincinnati series. Philly series, I had this little just lingering drop in my nervousness or my stomach a few hours before each game would start. I think it coincidentally or hilarious in terms of funniness, I got that feeling before every win. I wasn't nervous for game 3, and that's the one, of course, the Dodgers ended up getting pummeled, right? Or at least they got pummeled at the end. This game, there was a little bit of nervousness, but not a lot. So I didn't know how to gauge anything at that point. I just felt like the Brewers, I felt from the beginning, I felt the Phillies were the team. Even though the Brewers had swept the Dodgers in all 6 games on the road and at home, I just was not afraid of the Brewers. And tonight proved it. Especially with Yamamoto going up tomorrow. Snell, I didn't know he was going to have this kind of a game, but Jesus, this was as dominant a performance pitching that I've seen in a very, very long time. Absolutely very, very long time. I'd say the first one that pops into my head is Kershaw game 1 against Houston in 2017. That was a dominant performance. This was, when you factor in the current climate of baseball and how things play out, the fact that he went 8 is like going 12 innings now, right? So they escape with a win. But man, did they earn this. They didn't come up with the right hits at the right time very often, other than Freddie hitting the home run. But you have to factor in the weirdness of that double play that should have been a bases clearing, at the very least, a bases clearing hit, or at least 2 runs. Because if he at least gets 2 runs there, that likely kind of creates momentum, probably. Momentum in baseball, obviously, is a huge thing, right? Just like in basketball. So the Dodgers probably start rolling after that. But in the end, if you're looking at this as a Dodger fan, especially as a Dodger fan, because it's a win, you can look back on this and say, wow, we witnessed a freakish play that we'll never see again. I would be in shock if we ever see it again. Again, I don't know if that means much, considering I screwed up on one of my dialogues about how there's never going to be a 7-game series where the road team wins every game. And then, of course, it happens again a couple of years later with Texas and Houston. So with the same team, basically, right? Like Houston couldn't win at home in those 2 series, in the World Series and in the ALCS. So, but I'm going to go out on a limb and guarantee that we're never going to see a play like that again, at least with the Dodgers. So that's out of the way now. That's out of the way. Odds say that is a 1 in a trillion chance of that happening again, right? Because I've never seen it. And I've seen maybe 5,000 baseball games in my time. I'm just throwing a number out there, by the way. It might be more. So the Dodgers win. That's all that matters. And the Dodgers win again on the road, a place that they have not played well all year. until the last 6 games of the year. They won 5 out of 6, and they've won every road game in the playoffs. The first 2 games in the wild card, obviously, they weren't on the road. They were at home, so they finished that in 2. They won both road games in Philly, and now they've won a road game in Milwaukee. Milwaukee is going to press now because now you have the full season ace coming up. And Yamamoto had a bad outing before. And I haven't seen Yamamoto have back-to-back bad outings. The baseball, anything is possible, as you saw tonight. So I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say, oh, Yamamoto is going to deal because he stunk the last time he was out. And the thing is, he didn't really even stink that much in the last outing. I think it's just because of the circumstances and what was going on. It just, those guys were just hitting singles and playing small ball, and they had to adjust the way they did. So I didn't really consider that a bad. I mean, he didn't have anything go on for 3 innings. He was pitching well. If the Dodgers had scored 5 runs before then, he probably would have coasted for 6 innings, and they would probably won the game. The offense needs to start to wake. The offense needs to wake up. There is no doubt that this offense needs to start waking up. This is getting ridiculous now. You had a bullpen game tonight against pitchers that are good but not that good. So the Dodgers need to get out of there. They need to figure something out here, man. They need to go off tomorrow. They are due. They have not gone off in any game the last 2 series. We're talking about 5 games now. I think they're due. And this would be the time tomorrow to get due. You drop 6 or 7 runs tomorrow, and you're leaving Milwaukee up 2-0. And you probably finish this team off at home to go to the World Series. And that's how I would preach. That's how I would preach it in the locker room or the clubhouse. Sorry. I'd be like, guys, all your guys' bats, go get some Jobu rum, go get some voodoo, whatever it is that you need to do, cigars, all that stuff. Get that on your bats because Yamamoto will help. Give this guy some run support. The run support that you haven't really been giving him for 95% of the year. Get it to him tomorrow, and you're leaving Milwaukee up 2-0, and you're likely not having to come back because I don't see the Dodgers losing 2 out of 3 in LA. I don't see it. It could happen, but I don't see it. And even then, if it did happen, they're in a elimination game on their end, on their side, going into Game 6 in Milwaukee. That's what's up. I'm gonna get to the chat room quicker than normal here. Rafa, yeah, my boy. What's up, Joe? Yes, what's up, everyone? Let's see here. I swear I'm 27 and they almost gave me a heart attack. Dude, I've been having heart attacks for the last 2 weeks. Yes, please hit the like and subscribe button. For those of you who haven't been here before, please like and subscribe. I'm going to be on more and more as time goes on. I just started the show in March. I do a show usually every week or 2 weeks because of scheduling and because of activity. We're going to have a lot more going on here, obviously, when the Lakers start as well. This is like a Laker, Dodger, and I'll throw in some Pittsburgh Steelers stuff in here as well. Those are my teams. But, of course, the experiment is the name of the show, and the experiment is supposed to be an experiment. We experiment on here to see what's kind of in the zone at the time when we're talking, and we're always doing that. So that's how that works. I almost had cardiac arrest. Aaron, what's up, man? That's why I love the Snell signing in the offseason. So the Blake Snell signing, should the Dodgers win it all, will be, in my lifetime, probably 1A greatest signing in Dodger history for what I've seen the Dodgers. Since I've been watching the Dodgers since I was 10. I'm 47, so 37 years. I think Snell would end up being 1A. Now, there's a lot of ones in there. You could even say there is no 1A, 1B, 1C. Because Freddie Freeman is in the 1. Kirk Gibson is in the 1. Those 2 are the first guys I think of when I hear free agent pickups that made a huge difference. I'm talking iconic difference, right? Just so happens that Gibby and Freddie both hit game-winning home runs in Game 1 of World Series. That plays a huge part in that. But Snell is going to be in there if they end up winning it all, because what's likely going to happen here, guys, is unless the Dodgers sweep in 4, it's very likely that Snell pitches Game 5. And if the Dodgers are up 3-1 and Snell is pitching Game 5, he has a chance to win the pennant and also win NLCS MVP. And that's kind of where that's the trajectory of Blake Snell. That's what I'm looking at. I don't really focus on the MVP type stuff usually, unless I know that the Dodgers are going to win. Then it's kind of fun to say, hey, who's going to win the series MVP? But that's what's kind of lurking there. Can he be Madison Bumgarner of the Dodgers of 2025? Madison Bumgarner was essentially the iron horse in the 2014 run for the San Francisco Giants. And then, of course, our own guy, Oral Hershiser, he was the iron horse for that 88 run. I could see Blake Snell being that guy in both series should they win it all. And that's where that whole can he be in the 1 position after that? And my answer is you have a damn good argument. You have a really, really good argument that he could end up being tied in that 1 spot as one of the greatest free agent pickups in Dodger history. Craig, nail biter. Yeah. I'm just happy I don't like the taste of nails. Otherwise, my nails would be gone. Snell with historic pitching performance. Yes, it was, Rafa. Blue Magic. Craig, I was eating my nails raw. Snell should have finished. So I don't know. I might need some time until maybe tomorrow to really absorb that. And I haven't. I saw before, right before I got on air, I did see Roberts doing his post game press conference, and I'm sure that he was asked certain questions on that. I'd be curious. I want to go back and listen to that once the show's over, so I can get an idea of what his answer was. When it was going on, I was not upset. And if that's the case, you can't reverse that, guys, because that's not fair. Now, if you are yelling, don't do this, let Snell finish, then you have all the room to question what ended up happening in the end. Now, here's the silver lining, and I've been turning into Empire Jeff with this stuff, but it's not. I haven't. I that's what people have been saying around my circles. Like, you're starting to get more positive, like Empire Jeff. I'm like, no. My thinking is always logic. It's always about logic. They went into this with Roki dealing. Roki had not had one issue. Not one issue in the 3 saves he's had. So you're not going to really know when that moment is going to be. Oh, is he going to struggle? Well, you had a 2-run lead. One would have been a problem, obviously. With a 2-run lead, okay, you can risk a little bit, because if they hit a solo home run, you're still up. And that's what I was kind of just pushing for, right? Again, I'm not pitching in the major leagues. I know it's not as easy to throw a strike like some people think, right? But I was saying, Roki, don't fiddle around. Just throw them the heat, throw them the sinker. Just make sure you don't walk anybody. Make them hit the ball. Make them hit your 100-mile-an-hour pitch, and then make them think that it's coming, and then that sucker sinks, right? So he didn't do that. And it was the first time as a relief pitcher where he couldn't locate, and then he got in trouble. Then, now I'm thinking to myself, okay, Roki got at least an out. Well, he ended up getting another out, but it cost a run. And now what are you going to do? Now, there's really no right-handers that are available, and there was a right. The Contreras was coming up, so you wanted to throw right. And then I see Blake Triton pitching or warming up, and now I'm getting worried. I wasn't worried like I was maybe a few weeks ago, but I was worried because Blake had been locating a little bit better the last few times he's been out. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, shoot, okay. Oof. Blake has to come in and get one out, which also kind of calmed me down. If it was a 3-out thing, then that game would have been over. Like he would have botched it. But 1 out, there was still an open base. Okay. If he walks the first guy, at least he's not going to end up giving up a run, which is something he always seems to do, right? First pitch, first guy is like always gets a hit or whatever, right? He ends up walking Contreras, and then now I'm sweating bullets. Now Terang is coming up, and Terang has the ability to end that game pretty easily. So where's the silver lining? The silver lining is I'm thinking to myself, and I told Jeff this, I said, if Terang just makes one bad swing in this at-bat, I'm paraphrasing. I just basically said in the text, we need a miracle. We need a bad swing. And my God, Terang swung on a high heater at the worst time and got the strikeout. What the silver lining is there is now Roki has dealt with adversity at the highest level other than the World Series. I mean, the NLCS is pretty high too. I don't know if there's a level difference at the time. Obviously, it means more to win a World Series game than an NLCS game. But a playoff game of that magnitude, I don't think there's a difference in terms of how your heart beats. It doesn't beat 400 times faster versus the previous series going, 300? No, I think they all have the same heartbeat and same nerves. At least I know for sure I do. I know I haven't seen the difference from the NLDS to the NLCS already, right? So the silver lining here is Roki hit his first speed bump. Still got 2 outs. Still got 2 outs, guys. Didn't leave a lot of a mess. And now he's got to go back and go, okay, I was able to get out of that, and now I got to learn how to adjust from that. Then Blake Triton comes in and gets the punch out, which is what he's there for. Blake Triton is supposed to be the guy that punches you out at the end of games. That's who he is. He's the guy with the video game pitches, right? And he did that. And I'm going to say that now increases his confidence in these moments even more. And that makes that whole bullpen now a little bit more manageable. Because now if Blake is going to be able to come in and punch out a guy like Terang with a lefty-righty situation with that much pressure, I don't know if you can get that much more pressure other than if it was a game 7 and it was a closeout game, right? Closeout game on you. I don't know. I think that's going to go a long way in terms of pumping up Triton for the rest of the run. So that's the silver lining there, that this happened. I know I probably had to lose at least 4 or 5 days of my life from my stomach and my heart, but it will mean likely that Roki will now be able to adjust to the failure, semi-failure, because again, he's still got 2 outs. And then you have Triton now who has struggled all year and now punches out a very capable batter at the most crucial time on the road. Hell of a win. Hell of a win. Hell of a win. Very proud of the Dodgers. And if I'm going to preach the results business, the results is a W. And I'm not going to harp on Roberts for taking Snell out in the 8th, because in the end, it worked. If it hadn't worked, there's some argument there for those who said it before. But for me, they've been doing this. It's not like they threw in Triton in there. They threw in Roki because they wanted to guarantee 3 outs. And that's what they used to do back in the day. When Mariano Rivera would come in at the end of games, guys, the pitchers would go 7 or 8. Usually what would happen is Pitcher would go 7, set up man in the 8th, closer in the 9th. That was how things worked back in the day, right? Well, in this case, it's kind of old school. Snell went 8. Rocky's the closer. He's going to close it out like Mariano Rivera, but it didn't work out. Got the 2, and of course, Blake was able to close this out and ease our nerves and give the Dodgers already home field after the first game again. So as of right now, the Dodgers have eliminated the issue with home field. They haven't had an issue with not having the home field advantage at the beginning of the series. They beat the Phillies in game 1. That took away home field. Now they added to that by winning game 2, but they were able to finish off the Phillies at home, which now the Dodgers have another opportunity tomorrow with their whole season ace to go up 2-0. And if the Dodgers go up 2-0 against the Brewers, I don't see baseball is funny. It could go the wrong way. You can't deny that. I'm realizing that more and more this year than I ever have in my life. And I've been watching baseball for a long time. But baseball is the weirdest sport on the planet. It is the weirdest sport, how things are. And you saw what happened today. You saw some of the weird things that happened today. So by that, besides that, I just don't see how the Dodgers are going to lose a series if they go up 2-0 on the road. They close it out in LA at that point, whether it's in 4, whether it's in 5. They're closing out that sucker in LA, especially with Snell in game 5. Because there's no way they'll pull a Houston Astros and lose 3 games at home. There's no way. It's possible. Anything is possible. But I can't. There's no way in my head that I can comprehend that ever happening. So they win 2 games. Even if they lose 2 out of 3 at home, they still have a chance to close out the Brewers in game 6. So that's what that is. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say they win tomorrow. They're finishing this sucker in LA. Snell should have pitched all game. Yes. LOL. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Go Dodgers. Yes. Gregory, why do Dave overthink effing just let Snell finish the game? I gotta go look at the post-game stuff to see what he said about that. Mark, what's up, bud? Let's go. Yes. Playoff baseball giving you aneurysms and headaches and stomach aches and heartaches. Everyone's saying hello. Roki in the 9th was the move. He simply didn't have it today. Yes, Aaron, that is true. He at least got 2 outs. At least he didn't leave a horrible setup for Blake. Blake just had to get 1 guy out. Thank God he did. Blue, don't forget you can join us on Playback. Yes, please join us on Playback, guys. We're having a good time. The numbers are going up. Again, for those of you who are here for the first time, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification button because I'm gonna do more post-game stuff after games from here on out, just so we can have the ability to yap as we're doing our thing. Yes, I was actually right before I pressed live. Mooney hit a 38-yard game-winning field goal in really bad weather. So San Francisco Giants looking at him going, you piece of crap. Now you make it in bad weather? He hit it right in the middle, too. Freddie only shows up in the NLCS and World Series games. I can't complain, Joe. So Freddie finally got a chance to see some righties. And he almost had that other one. He almost had the double he had. I don't know what the hell happened with the ball at that point. I don't know if the wind hit at the right time. I thought that was out. But again, a weird game. A weird game. But my God, winning these weird games and being able to talk about this stupid play, this stupid double play that just was all on the side of the Brewers. I mean, come on. You got all that and you still lost? Suck on it, I guess. Snellzilla. Yeah, we need to put him in that Godzilla thing with his face on. That'd be great. Snellzilla was so awesome. Rowdy, everybody's talking. Teo should have tagged up. He would have scored easy. So Teoscar Hernandez. We've had issues with his focus all year. And I could say there is definitely merit around people saying Teoscar needs to wake the hell up and pay attention. But this was the weirdest play I've ever seen. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know if it was a catch or a hit, and I looked at it from the camera. Was it a hit? Was it a catch? It hit the yellow line. Did the yellow line mean a home run? Like, I was confused. And he's all the way to third watching this. No one knew. No one knew. No one knew what the hell was going on. So I'll give him a pass on this. I will give him a pass on this one. And it's impossible to look at this in any other way, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It was a very, very, very strategic, weird, heart-pounding game. It was one of the more entertaining 2-1 games that you could watch. And it was a beautiful game on its path to that. Seeing really good pitching. Seeing how pitching is paramount when it comes to playoff baseball. When you have good pitching, man, you can do a lot of things. Just like having a good goalie in hockey. If you're able to score one goal and your goalie has 40 saves, it's in my view, this is just how this ended, and this is the last part of the silver lining, and this is something that I don't have to manifest as a being positive or being all optimistic. And the reason why I've been probably more optimistic is because the Dodgers are winning games in a certain way that I haven't really seen them win in this run. They're winning these games that you usually used to lose in the past. Winning at both games in Philly? When the hell have the Dodgers won game 1 and game 2 on the road against a team like Philadelphia? When? I don't remember those kind of games. It's been a long time. Even the Mets in '88, they lost game 1. They lost game 3. They lost to the Milwaukee Brewers in the 2018 NLCS in game 1. They usually lose the first game on the road. And they've won 3 straight games to really good teams. The Brewers are really good. Philly, I think, is better. But my God, how can I be a hypocrite at this point? I can't. The results are there. The results are there. And they have a huge chance at winning tomorrow and going 4-0 in the first 2 series against 2 of the best teams of the 2 of the best 3 teams in the majors. Sorry, Seattle. Sorry, Toronto. It's Philly, Milwaukee, and the Dodgers. And right now, Philly's now 3rd. And right now, the Dodgers are 1 and Milwaukee is 2 until they say otherwise. So it's a pretty crazy run here, considering where they were before their 6-game road trip to end the season. It becomes that, okay, they survived all the injuries the first half. Then they hit a really bad lull in July. And then they sort of kept hitting the wall at the beginning of September all the way until the 3rd week of September. Then they started to kind of come back. And then they had a really good couple games in the wild card. I mean, with those 2 games against Cincinnati were, I don't even consider, my brain doesn't even consider those playoff games. It was almost like, well, let the Dodgers kind of warm up against the Cincinnati Reds. Because once it was the Cincinnati Reds, I was like, they're going to whoop the crap out of Cincinnati. The Mets, the reason why I was saying Cincinnati versus the Mets is because I was like, you got to worry about Soto. You got to worry about Lindor. You're like, you still got to worry about those guys, even though they weren't really coming through the way they were supposed to. The Polar Bear, like those guys can hit. They can hit mammoth shots and change momentum. You don't know with those guys. You never know, even though they hadn't done it in a while. It could change on a dime. So Cincinnati, I'm like, they'll get the 2 games and then they'll go and play Philly. That was my focus was Philly from the beginning. I didn't even think about Cincinnati, and the Cincinnati Reds get bounced. Then, of course, the Dodgers end up doing what they did there. Now, you put a stranglehold in this series by winning both games on the road. At that point, you are putting yourself in no stress zone. The stress is going to lessen even more going back to LA for 3 straight in LA, because I just don't see how you're not going to win 2 out of 3 in LA with the pitchers that you got and the guys that usually and the guys that haven't been hitting the way they're supposed to. They're going to hit at some point here. And what better way to do that than at home? So that's where that is. Okay, let's see. Snell, best pitcher, still in the playoffs. I agree with that. Still some time, though. Snell was in the zone. This was a zone that only I've seen him be in, right? Dave is going to cost Dodgers a championship. Keep making foolish, stupid, asinine, dumb decisions. Dave just about cost us a dominant performance. There is no argument for me, Gregory. There is no argument. I don't know. I did not look at the process tonight and go, why are you doing this? I didn't. I'll admit it. I thought Roki was going to come in at the bottom of the lineup and strike out all 3 guys. But in the end, when you start to think about it, like I'm thinking about it now, Snell did not struggle for a single inning. Usually when they get out in the 7th and 8th, they probably had to get out with some issues. Or maybe they had to get out with some issues in the 5th, something like that. Some kind of tightness, right? They can't locate, whatever. Snell, even in the 1 inning he allowed a hit, he picked that guy off. So it was 1, 2, 3. And he was just as dominant in the 8th inning as he was in the 5th inning, the 6th inning. I don't know. Did they look at the 100-pitch thing? Did they say, let's not test our luck? What if he gets hurt? I don't know. But there's an argument that they should have left him in to finish that game against the bottom of the lineup. I would say you've definitely got a story there that would work. But baseball's different now, man. It's a different damn game, and it is what it is. But in the end, guys, I think in the end, it's going to help both Roki and Blake now. If Blake, here's the thing that's going to be important here. If this now helps Blake Triton be better, then this scenario is warranted. And that's how I'm looking at it. I can't look at it any other way because they won. And Blake did his job. And Roki didn't do his complete job, but he did get 2 outs. I'm just saying, I'm looking at this from the results. Even though it was tight, even though the heart was pumping, they got the job done, and they did it on the road in the NLCS in Game 1 with all the breaks going towards the Brewers. Every damn break was going their way. Even the inconceivable breaks, because that damn double play should have been 2 runs at least. And God knows what would have happened after that, because you would have had guys on 3rd and 2nd with 1 out. That means it's very likely with the momentum and all that was going on and who was up next. Kike was up next. Kike would have probably gotten at least 1 more guy back, 1 more run on that. And then that game is over at that point, right? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They won. Roll with it. Milwaukee's a team that drafted Snell. This is going to be revenge, Joe. I never really considered him a Brewer. I always looked at him as a Ray. Never really looked at him as a Padre or a Giant, even though he won a Cy Young as a Padre. A guy that good It's just so puzzling to me that guy could end up playing for 4 teams. How does that happen? How does that happen? That is a weird thing in baseball. You have somebody who, we're sitting here talking about Freddie Freeman first ballot, Mookie Betts first ballot, Ohtani first ballot, Kershaw first ballot. Guys, if Snell gets a series MVP and wins a championship this year, he's going to be a first ballot. And who is he going to go in as? Who do you think he's going to go in as? He's not going to go in as a Ray. He's not going to go in as a Padre or a Giant or a Milwaukee Brewer. Obviously not a Milwaukee Brewer. He's going to go in as a Dodger. So the Dodgers have so much in future interests with this thing. So much that can be created off of 7 more playoff wins. So much. And that's where the optimism, that's where the excitement is. The results create that. You guys are seeing for the first time, those of you who know me, those of you who have been around me for 4 years now on the Lakers Fast Break, on here, on other shows, you guys are now seeing how I was during the 2000s when Kobe and Shaq were running game, when Kobe and Gasol were running game, when my Steelers were winning Super Bowls in Detroit and in Tampa. This is who I'm really am. This is who I am. I'm more of this guy than I am the rant guy. The rant guy is supposed to be a minimal guy, a guy that rants over stuff that didn't make sense, stuff that shouldn't happen. But what it ended up being the last 4 years is it ended up being lost opportunities due to ego, bad decisions, in the inability to make good decisions, the inability to do their jobs, things like ownership, things like, why did you make this trade? Why did you let this player go? Why are you paying this guy $50 million and he's not producing anything other than a first-round exit? These type of things. Well, right now, the Dodgers, as much as they have frustrated me this year, in the end, and I told Empire Jeff this, I said, if they win the championship this year, I will not say a single negative thing for a while about the Dodgers. And that would include even if Roberts screws up every game next year in terms of who he puts in at the end of games to finish games off, and he loses more than he wins, still not going to complain. Because this team is 7 wins away from immortality. The Dodgers have never won back-to-back championships. They've never won back-to-back championships. They've been around since 1884. This is before your great, great, great grandparents, some of you. 3 greats, some of you. 1884. The first World Series was in 1916. First World Series win for the franchise was 1955. The first championship in LA was 1959. And then they ended up winning another championship in 63, lost in a game 7 in 64 to the Yankees, won in 65. They were 1 game away from three-peating in between the 60s. And then they hit a little bit of a drought. They kept getting to the World Series in the 70s and kept losing. They lost to the A's. They lost to New York twice, the Yankees twice. And then they finally kind of got back on the horse in 81 by beating the Yankees. Then they got revenge on both the A's and the Yankees in the 80s. So they lost to the A's in the World Series in 1974. The A's won 3 straight in that decade. with Reggie Jackson. 72, 73, 74. The A's won the World Series. The Dodgers lost to them in 74. And then the Dodgers lost in 77 and 78 to the Yankees, and then got revenge on both teams in 1981 against the Yankees and then the A's in 1988. And then 1988 was when I started watching the Dodgers. My first memories of watching the Dodgers and being invested in it. Watched the Dodgers, saw the Kirk Gibson game live on TV, had to deal with A's fans living in Central California. A lot of A's fans, a lot of Giants fans. A's fans were all over me that whole week before they played game one. And man, when I got to school, and when you're kids are brutal talking smack. Best smack talkers, the most screwdriver piercing smack is when you were a kid. Man, did I talk smack, especially after they won the whole thing, let alone the Kirk Gibson home run. When they won it all, no one came near me. And I was a kid. I didn't know my ass from my ear. But, man, I talked so much shit because I was like one of 2 Dodger fans in this whole town. Everyone else was an A's fan or a Giants fan, right? And then there was a 30-year drought. 30-year drought. Almost 30 years. The 17 arrival in the World Series. And I will always say that that's a win, even though it's not in the books. 29 years later, the Dodgers won the World Series, but they got it stolen away from them from those pieces of shit in Houston. And then they ended up going to the World Series the following year against more cheaters. But I always sort of give Red Sox a little bit of a leeway because they did give us Mookie Betts. And if the Dodgers win it again this year, it'll be a 1 title to 3 title trade. Because I don't look at the trade as anything other than a complete flop for the Red Sox. They traded Mookie Betts, in my view, in a much worse trade than even Babe Ruth leaving the Red Sox to New York. And I say that because I wasn't there for that one. So I give you a little bit of leeway on that one. And that was one of Dave Roberts' worst series too. 2019, 2018. Those two losses were at the peak of Dave Roberts' horrible management. So we are now, as Dodger fans, we're in a position where we're winning these weird games with weird circumstances, and that's good. Because as soon as they start balling, then it's over. Then it's like if Ohtani starts getting hits, if Freddie starts getting hits, Mookie starts getting hits, it's just not – there's not going to be a chance for anybody, especially with guys like Yamamoto, guys like Snell there, guys like Ohtani. Ohtani's going to pitch game 3 at home. That, by the way, he's one of the best pitchers in the league too, right? I mean, this team is stacked in terms of starting pitching. And hopefully Blake Triton jumps the shark here, whatever that means. Finally jumped his shark. And becomes that guy with Vesia, with Dreyer, with Roki, to where those guys can finish those 7, 8, 9 innings to help them win this thing, man. Just to win the damn thing. Damn stressful as, stress is not even the word, man. First win against Milwaukee this year. Good timing, isn't it? Thank you, Drip. Appreciate it, man. By the way, guys, Drip Show. This is the Kobe poster that Drip Show got me. As clean and as precise and as beautiful as it can be. And then, of course, being that we're in the baseball world now, we got the Ohtani poster here. The video that I'm showing you right now doesn't do them justice. Seeing them in your face and live is it shows how amazing they are. And I have nothing but admiration and thanks to Chris. His name is Chris, the illustrator. Drip Show makes absolute beautiful art. And if you all want to get some of this, you want to hit up Drip Show. You can get him on Instagram on Drip Show. And I highly recommend you he'll make you anything you want. in terms of the sports stuff. And he is amazing at it. Very, very creative and very, very, very innovative in terms of, I mean, I'm looking at these posters. I'm like, these are so unique and beautiful. It's like, wow, it's nothing like you see out there. So again, props to Drip Show, props to Chris, my boy. Chris, I'm going to be there for spring training here again. And this time I'm going to be there for a few days. So we're going to really have a good time when I come next time. Ohtani walked 3 times. So Ohtani has a hand in almost every run that the Dodgers get usually, because they walk him and then here comes Mookie Betts and then they end up walking Mookie Betts. The man possesses a power, even when he's not hitting well, that still affects the game. And if you are a box score watcher, you are not going to understand that, especially in baseball. Especially in baseball. Do you have any idea how much stress it is to have to walk a player and deliberately load the bases? Oh, and by the way, you got to deliberately load the bases so you can face a first ballot Hall of Famer that's still in his prime, who's been playing well too, by the way. That's a lot of stress, because now you can't just worry about getting Mookie out. You have to worry about a bad pitch. That could be a wild pitch that gets a run. You have to worry about a walk. There's so much pressure to get by that player. It catches you, and it caught him today in a single at bat, which ended up being the game-winning run. So Shohei has a hand in every, what seems like at least 1 or 2 runs. Almost every important run, he's got a hand in it in some way. You go back to the World Series. They walked Ohtani. I'm sorry, they didn't walk Ohtani. They walked Mookie. But what happened there is they brought in Nestor Cortez to get Ohtani out, because he had a history of being able to get him out. And he got him out in 1 pitch, but the stress of trying to get Ohtani out opened up the opportunity to have Freddie take him out of the park. You think I'm stretching? You think I'm trying to pull it? That's on you. But that's how it worked out. Everyone's like, why did you put a guy in there that hadn't pitched in a month? Did you guys just see him get the most dangerous baseball player on the planet out in 1 pitch? The problem playing the Dodgers is it takes a toll. How are you going to get past Ohtani, Mookie, and Freddie? How? They're all going to the Hall of Fame. They're all going to the Hall of Fame in the first ballot. They are not going to not be in the Hall of Fame the first year they're eligible. And they're all in their prime. I can't remember who it was. Someone said, you can get through Mookie, you can get through Freddie Freeman. And they said this because of how things played out in the first series in 2023, right? A little bit in 2022 as well. You can get past Mookie. You can get past Freddie, because pitching, pressure, the ability to manipulate that whole process. Good pitching can neutralize good hitting, especially even if it's guys like Mookie and guys like Freddie, right? You can get those guys and hit a stride and maybe have them not hurt you too much. But the guy said, I can't remember who it was, somebody on TV. He says, but you're not going to be able to get Ohtani also. Like if Ohtani is there, it's going to be very difficult to do all 3. And it makes sense because they have to get around Ohtani. And then, and by getting around Ohtani, that means they have to give him a free ride. And free rides in those moments are very scary. You're giving him a free base. And then you have to deal with Mookie and Freddie. That's hard because if you're giving Mookie a free base and you just have to deal with Freddie or the other way around, okay. But can you do all three? No. And the percentages say you're going to get jacked 4 out of 10 times either by Mookie or by Freddie if you do that. And they won a World Series because of it. And they won today's game because of it. Just saying. That's how the game works. If Ohtani isn't scary, they don't walk him. Even if he's struggling, they're not walking him. He is a scary dude, and he affects in so many ways that aren't on the box score. And I would implore you to watch. But, you can think whatever you want. But in my view, that man is going to win another MVP. And those right there, those little things are why. Besides the numbers. The numbers are part of it, obviously. But the value of that man at the top of the lineup is as valuable as any player in the majors. Just from the fear sometimes, not even from his performances. The fear that this guy's going to do something. He's Barry Bonds of now. They were deathly afraid of Barry Bonds. They walked him as much as they could because they're like, we don't want to deal with this guy. Even if he was struggling. Doesn't matter. And that's what it is. Let's see. Where are we, guys? Blake's confidence is skyrocketing. I'm assuming you're thinking Trident, Rafa. I would say yes. Dodgers are winning in spite. Yes, sir. And that is the best way to win sometimes. Sometimes these ugly wins really, really enhance your confidence in a way where you can sit back and say, man, we're not even playing well yet. We just beat the Phillies in Philly. And the Brewers in Milwaukee in 3 road games? You got to be looking back going, man, we got this, man. Pages playing to shallow in the 9th. So Pages, I don't want to go south on this conversation. I'm enjoying being positive. But here's the thing with Pages. Pages is one really, really, really important hit away from going nuts. That's how he is. Once he gets that one hit, it becomes an avalanche. So I'm waiting for it. And Andy, I'm rooting for you. There's a lot of value with Andy out in the outfield, by the way. That's why he's there. And, of course, he's going to slug. No matter how much you want him to not swing on that damn 4th ball, that's just who he is. And when he does connect, it could mean a good thing. So that's where they've been able to dodge this issue. But I am going to say this. If Pages gets that hit, it will avalanche and you'll start seeing him get it. That's how in the 2 years I've been watching him play, as soon as he gets into a drought, I wait for that hit, whether it's a home run, whether it's a double, and all of a sudden you start seeing him just keep hitting. And that just seems to be the story of Andy Pages. Well.
And we're back.
With the monotone mic.
Wrong show, wrong channel. Sorry.
You're back with the deep in the hallway voice.
There you go.
No, right. I'm not. So what's going on there? What are you doing?
What's going on with what?
Are you not in stereo? Are you in mono? What are you doing over there?
I don't know. Checking the audio right now.
Am I not hearing you right?
Hold on. Testing. Seems to be good to me.
I'm telling you, watching the Gregory. Look, here's the thing with sports.
There we go. Okay,
there we go. Now Gerald's back. Thank you very much. Anyways,
camera mic. I don't know it's so weird lately. It's just going like first thing to my camera mic, and I'm like, those things suck.
Yeah, they're really bad. So the perspiration, the stress, it builds this, especially when they win from it, it builds this worth from it. It's worth going through this. It's worth seeing them achieve what they're achieving, winning, and hopefully winning it all in the end here, and saying, man, you remember when we watched this? Remember how we felt? I've been fortunate. We talked about this on your show, Gerald, on how I've been fortunate that I've had a pretty good run as a sports fan. My dad picked 3 really good teams that I connected with my dad, right? God rest his soul.
Yep.
Dodgers, Lakers, Steelers. I've been extremely fortunate in this century, in 25 years, to see 6 NBA championships, 2 Super Bowl wins, and 2 World Series wins, and hopefully another one. Now, I've seen 3 World Series wins because I was invested, and I remember the 88 World Series. That was the first year I remember being invested at 10 years old and being a Dodger fan. And I watched games with my dad, and it was something that I remember. I don't remember the 87 NBA championship. I don't remember the 88 NBA championship. I know you do.
I actually got a T-shirt right there that has the 88 back-to-back right there.
Yeah, so you've seen, you have been able to see and understand and 11 championships. You are never going to have to worry about anything anymore with the Lakers, for sure. I mean, come on, 11. You've seen 11. Do you remember the 72 championship?
No.
Okay.
No, I was 3.
Okay.
So no.
So that's funny.
I started watching, or at least I have a conscious memory of watching Channel 9 TV at in 77. That's when I first started watching.
Good deal. So Gerald Glassford has seen 11 NBA championships. Now, that's as spoiled as I think you could get, right? I mean, Bill Russell.
I want more.
Bill Russell won 11, right?
Yes.
So Gerald Glassford has seen 11. That's a pretty damn good choice in terms of the team you picked. Yeah, I would love to see more, obviously, and the greed comes from that, right? So that adds more to the greed of the Laker fan. Well, I've seen 11. Gerald's seen 11 championships. I've seen 6. So yeah, we're spoiled. We want more. We want to see 19 before the Celtics see 19. Then at that point, we'll have lived at a time where we could see the Celtics look at the ass of the Lakers finally. In what? It took them. I don't know why I keep forgetting this. Hold on. Champions. I'm going to remember this now that I'm going to look at it. So, NBA champions. In 1954, the Minneapolis Lakers had the most championships in the NBA. And then they had it in 55. They had it in 56. They had it in 57, 58, 59, 60, 61. Let's see here. 62, 63. In 1963, the Boston Celtics passed the Lakers with 6 NBA championships versus their 5. What year were you born, Gerald?
69. Actually, during the middle, because it was May 4th, and I found out, and I did some research, I believe that was during the 69 finals between the Lakers and the Celtics.
Wow. Yeah, so you were destined to be a Laker guy.
Yes.
Good deal.
Well, I was born, like I said, 2 blocks away from the Los Angeles Forum.
Good. And it's unfortunate that the Lakers couldn't put them away in 69. That would have been a nice way to end the Celtic run. But It is what it is. So since 1963, the Lakers have been behind the Celtics in terms of all-time titles. They finally saw them eye to eye after 2020, but then of course now they're looking up again and after 2024. So that's enough Laker talk on that. I just thought it'd be nice to throw that in there since we were talking about it. But
well, I've been listening to you on my way home, and I would say what a great game. Tiernan, he needed that. Trinan, I'm sorry, needed that.
Trinan, yeah.
Trinan. He needed that because he's been awful. And I know you guys out there were just like on pins and needles with this bullpen. This bullpen, again, they will go as far as the bullpen will take them. And I'm happy to see that, that Sasaki until today had been the cornerstone of what they're doing, had been the Rock of Gibraltar. And when he fell today, that somebody was there to pick up the pieces and be able to get the job done. And especially to not ruin a fantastic game by Snell. Absolutely total command, Joe. It was a brilliant pitching performance. And the thing that nobody's talking about here, Joe, and you mentioned it, I think briefly the other day, was that the Dodgers are doing all this. Yeah, you did mention this the other day. Without Ohtani hitting well at all. He's hitting 138. If he starts to go off, it's over. It's absolutely
it really is. He just needs to go off and it's over. But they are pitching around him. He had 3 walks today. And I think all 3 of them were intentional. What needs to happen now is Mookie needs to make them pay. And I would suggest moving. I know Teo is a playoff performer, but I would suggest, even with the righty lefty thing, and they're probably not going to do it anyways. I would move Freddie to the 3 spot and keep him there, even with the righty lefty thing, because I don't think you're going to be dealing with lefties like you did with Philly, the rest of the way. So I would put Freddie at the 3 and then just let Teo clean up. Or you could put Will Smith at the cleanup and then put Teo at the 5, and then you kind of have your left, right. Maybe you want to put Muncy in there for the left, and then I don't know. Again, I guess it's a little above my pay grade, but I feel like I would prefer Freddie to be at the 3 spot, but they're only going to
move Ohtani right now just to try to shake things up.
I don't think they're going to move Ohtani because he creates such havoc at the top of the lineup. These walks have been a beneficial thing for the Dodgers. They've won games because of it. It's just you can't. You are guaranteeing, because he's at the leadoff spot, that he's going to get on base, whether it's him getting on base or whether it's them being so afraid and putting him on base. Okay. You want a championship with him there, no matter what.
That's true, but
they're still winning with him there. In the end, much like, I don't know if you're listening to the show from the beginning, but it's very you are witnessing, because I just got on to the Lakers fast break after the season where they won. And most of the people that have been watching me on the shows have never seen me in the positive mode. Up until maybe last year a little bit. But even last year, it was the first time, even though they had won in 2020, it was really the first time where I saw the Dodgers winning games that they usually would lose, because it had been like that. They had lost those tough games to Atlanta in 2021. They bowed out in 2022 after winning 111 games. They got their asses kicked in the NLDS by Arizona in a sweep in 2023. Like, even though they won in 2020, they were reminding me a lot of the Braves in the 90s and early 2000s. Like, this team is turning into the Braves. They're going to have that 1 year. They have that 1 year, and even that, there's arguments that are always going to be there that it was a shortened season. It wasn't really a championship. Not that I care about that. Again, everybody played by the same rules. If you're going to get on that train, then you got to take away Super Bowls and NBA championships then from teams. And to me, that they all played by the same rules. Just because it was adjusted doesn't mean it didn't mean anything. It didn't win. If your team had won, you would have been throwing the flag everywhere, right?
Yeah.
It's just that's facts, by the way. That's not a lie. That's 100%. So, anyways, they win the way they won last year. And then now the way they're winning now, they win 7 more games and they go back to back. It's just not going to – I can't say anything anymore. And I'm already on record saying if they don't win it next year, you can't really complain. Three-peating is impossible.
Yeah.
It's absolutely impossible. It took – look at the catalysts in the three-peats that we've seen in the last 30 years, 35 years. I have to say 35 instead of 25 because I have to include the Yankees and the Bulls in this, right? Michael Jordan, Derek Jeter, and Shaq and Kobe. Arguably the 4 most popular, most unbelievable athletes of the last 35 years. That's what it took. It took those kind of guys. The greatest athlete of the 20th century, the greatest captain next to Kareem. I can't. I'm sorry. As much as I love Derek Jeter, I can't put him in the number 1 spot as captain. It's always going to be Kareem. Kareem is captain 1, and then Jeter is captain 2. I'm no disrespect to Derek Jeter. I just I can't. I can't get beyond that. And then you have Shaq and Kobe.
Yes.
So what? Now what? How do you compare to those guys? Those guys are the freakiest of the freaky guys, right? Yeah. So fast forward to now, you go back to back, and the Lakers went back to back with Gasol and Kobe. And I love Gasol. Love Gasol. He was my favorite player during that run, by the way. But Gasol is not Shaq. He's not Jordan. He's not Derek Jeter. And the fact that they were able to repeat in that environment against that Celtic team, against some of those amazing teams that they went through in those 3 years, 4 years, 2-3 years, testament to how great Kobe was and how really, again, how close that team was. So back-to-back there. The Kansas City Chiefs have gone back-to-back. The Patriots went back-to-back. Who else went back-to-back? Did a hockey team? I don't think there's a hockey team that went back-to-back.
Yeah,
yet,
Florida.
Right? Did Florida go back-to-back? They
Florida
did.
Just went back-to-back, yeah.
They did. They lost.
The Golden Knights won.
They beat them. They kept them from three-peating because they beat them in the first. Okay, got it.
Yes.
Okay. So,
and then, of course, the Aces. They won 3 out of the last 4. I know if you count the WNBA at all on that. Your face said it all. So,
but the Houston Comets 4-peated.
Well, I know, and I believe didn't the Sparks do the same? Or there was 2.
Sparks,
Minnesota.
Sparks repeated. I remember in 2000, 2001, and I remember I was watching their playoff run in 2022. I wanted them to win. They got. I think they got beaten the round before the finals, though.
Yeah, but Minnesota won 4 in a row in the 2010s. And JY said, of course, the domination by the Edmonton Oilers during the Gretzky era.
So I had mentioned the last 35 years. Yes, if you want to mention the 80s, you can throw in the Islanders in there. The Islanders, and then right before then was the Canadians. The Canadians won in 1977, 76, 77, 78, 79. And then the Islanders won in 80, 81, 82, and 83. And then the Edmonton Oilers won 5 championships between that and 1990. 4 with Gretzky, and then they won in 90 when he had gone to the Kings in 1988.
Yeah.
So again, it feels good. I feel amazing. I'm just was not in that mode of blaming and worrying about anything other than winning. And the silver lining is Trident may have boosted his confidence a little bit more tonight. Roki had a chance to feel a little bit of adversity. And that's a good thing, too. He still got 2 outs and hit a little adversity, and it didn't cost them the game. So they win both ways there. Now Roki can maybe adjust because this is a rare thing, too. This guy was brought in to be a starter. And he very well could be in the history books, especially when his career is all said and done, as the guy that helped the Dodgers win a championship, being the closer to start a possible Hall of Fame career. And then you have somebody like Ohtani who's going to be pitching game 3. I mean, there's a lot of things that are going on in baseball, especially with the Dodgers right now, that is just not normal. We have seen very abnormal things the last 2 seasons. A pitching staff dominating dominating almost an entire playoff run against really good teams that wasn't even barely starting well. Yamamoto came into his own at the right time. Buehler came in at the right time. Jack Flaherty wasn't even a Dodger for 2 months. And they dominated last year. And they won a championship with their damn bullpen. And then seeing what's going on now, it's starting to sink in a little bit here. If they win 7 more games, you're going to be very hard pressed to say that this isn't one of the more unique back-to-back championships, one of the unique runs that you'll ever see in baseball. And maybe this is what baseball is going to turn into, which then gives that birth of this a place. Where was this born? We talk about the dead ball era versus the live ball era, right?
Yep.
We have a record of that. This will be ushered by the LA Dodgers should they win it again. The back-to-back championship that was won in the most unique, first-time ever scenario, especially when it comes to being able to actually see it. Because we can't see what Babe Ruth did in the early 20th century. There is no video of it. Small stuff here and there, but nothing where we can just go, oh, yeah, give me the 1918 World Series catalog here. Let's watch it. They don't have that. So that's part of the excitement of the history thing. Much like how when the Steelers won in 2005 and 2005-2006 season, the Steelers were the first team to win a Super Bowl as the 6th seed. Ben Roethlisberger was the youngest quarterback to win a Super Bowl at age 23. Jerome Bettis wins a championship in his hometown. I've been fortunate to see some really cool things. Shaq won a championship in his hometown in 2002. Kobe won a championship in his hometown in 2001. Pretty cool. Watched the Lakers beat the Celtics in the finals. Watched the Dodgers beat the Yankees in the World Series. I'm telling you, G, I think this is all starting to come together a little bit in my head, like how fortunate I am in terms of my fandom. It's fun. It's fun, and it's starting to sink in. And it's one of those things where I'm still going to be thirsty to win. It never goes away. But, man, if they win 7 more games and they go back-to-back, I can sit back really for a very, very long time and say, hey, I've had a freaking amazing ride here the last 25 years. With the way TV is now and has been, being able to watch, because even if I wanted to watch stuff back in the day, things weren't as readily available where I was. I couldn't listen to Chick Hearn. I mean, I guess I could have if I found some kind of radio set up, or at that time they had those big satellites I can go and my dad had one too, by the way, but there was so much to work to get to that, especially when they changed signals and we weren't getting the games that you can get. It's so much easier now. It's so much there's so much availability to be able to see this stuff now. It makes it that's why you're more invested in it, because you would think that at some point as you got older, because I saw so many of my friends go that route, you would think that I'm getting older, I have a family, I have a job, and no, actually it's the exact opposite. The more availability that we got, the more you got invested in it, and it became much easy. So easy. You can go anywhere now and watch the game. You could, if you have to drive to the store to go pick something up, you could just watch on your phone. You go to the can, you can watch the game. I mean, you can go anywhere. If you don't want to watch it in the can, you can press pause and just turn off your phone, put the volume down, and just catch up to it later, which is something I try to do a little bit here and there because I love going through the commercials. So, Dodgers are up 1-0. I'm going to get to some of your comments here, and then I'll start asking Gerald some questions before we head out. Let's see here. Rafa, this is great baseball. Yes, it is. What's all this aging and heart attack shit? Some of us are in our late 40s, Aaron. Teo could have tagged up on that play and scored. He ran back to base and tagged up. Again, that whole scenario was just weird. Yamamoto to pitch tomorrow. Yes. Dodgers are built for October, and they've been showing it here the last year and some change. We'll see what happens in the end here. Can't wait for Ken Griffey to be there, and when the Mariners head to the World Series. Quabina seems to be a Seattle Mariners fan. Didn't know that.
Maybe
We'll have to talk some more there, Quabina. Gotta wait a little bit. Gotta wait a little bit though. I gotta see 2-1 at least after 3 games with the Dodgers to start feeling comfortable. 2-1. Right now, feel comfortable, but not all there. Now, if they go up 2-0 tomorrow, then I'm going to start feeling comfortable. Seattle, on the other hand, slow your roll. Seattle is good. Toronto is struggling right now, but it's not out of the realm that Toronto doesn't have the ability to tie the series up in Seattle. Just saying. Just let it play out. If Seattle wins game 3, then you got it. Let's see. Hit the likes, please. Thank you, please, Mark. Thank you very much. Snell has a huge chip on his shoulder. You need guys like that every year on the title. So what would you say his chip is, Gerald? Do you know much about Blake Snell?
What's as far as...
Does he have a chip on his shoulder? Aaron is never wrong when it comes to stuff like this. He's pretty
I'd say definitely he has a chip on his shoulder.
Why?
I think for him, you just go back through his history, his career, and then moving over to the Dodgers, and people just, you just did it for the money, you just did it for the money, you just did it for this, you just did it for that. And I think he has something to prove. I think he has a lot to prove as someone, because people just Ohtani, and they talk about some of the other players on this roster. Blake Snell is one of the best pitchers in baseball. And he's proving it this offseason, Joe. He is coming in the clutch. I really think he had something to prove. And so, I think he has a chip as well. I think he has a chip on his shoulder because of what has happened in the past. And I just think that right now we're seeing the best of Blake Snell we might ever see. Because, my God, look at him. 3-0, under 1 ERA. He's doing it, Joe. He's doing it.
I had mentioned earlier that how is a guy like Blake Snell
10 strikeouts, Joe? 10.
How is it that Blake Snell has played with 4 teams? Baseball's like that, though, and I get it, especially towards the end of the career. But this is a man that had an ERA of 1.89 in 2018. I don't know. Like, he's been good since the beginning. Now, Tampa can't afford to pay big money. They're a small market. So I sort of understood that. But how is it that he jumped from that to the Padres, who do have money, and he ended up winning a Cy Young there, and then they don't sign him back? Goes to San Francisco for a year and basically wastes a year there, then finally gets the money that he wants from the Dodgers. So maybe that's the chip. And here's the beautiful thing about this. Snell is a 2-time Cy Young Award winner. That is like winning 2 MVPs. That's the MVP for pitchers. Multiple MVPs usually warrants Hall of Fame status. Just that.
I think this will cement it, Joe, if they get go all the way.
So the chip now is, what can that chip turn into? That chip could turn into a Hall of Fame door opening by getting the chip. Because he's likely, especially if the Dodgers win one of the next 2 games, they're going to be in line to possibly finish this off in Game 5 when he's ready to pitch at full rest. And in Game 5, they are going to be in LA, and if they're up 3-1, he closes that game out. He has a performance where he pitches, let's say, 6 scoreless. I'm not going to say he's going to go 8 again. Let's say he goes 6 scoreless and they win 6-2. He's winning NLCS MVP. Unless, of course, Ohtani or Mookie or Freeman start hitting 3 home runs at a time, right? Like, I'm basing off of what I've seen so far right now. He goes into the World Series with a series MVP, and then the Dodgers end up winning a championship. Now you have a 2-time Cy Young Award winner with a playoff series MVP and a championship. Now you might be seeing another Hall of Famer that's seeping through the Dodgers organization. That's a pretty crazy It's a pretty crazy notion at that point. That's a beautiful story. Something that we're setting up for right now. Guabina, what's up, Xbox and Guyana? Taking mess, stirring up, Joe. Talking mess. You talk all this mess you want, man. Hey, I love the competition. If you're a Seattle fan, I want Seattle to win because I want home field. So Seattle all the way for me. Blake and Blake closed down the Brewers. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Snell is the best pitcher I have ever seen. Let's go. Wow. Mark, yes, at this point, I'm not going to argue against that. That high fastball for the win was perfect. Yeah, that fastball, that 4-seamer that got Terang out, I was in shock when I saw it. And I knew that's what it would take. I thought it would be a sweeper. I thought maybe Blake could be. I thought Blake could throw a perfect sweeper and have him swinging like nuts, which wouldn't have been a bad swing. It would have been that's just how it is, right? Because that's video game. He has a video game sweeper when he gets it, right? But I haven't seen that pitch put anybody away for a while. So I had set my mind, and I don't know if you heard this before you got on. I was saying we need one bad swing from Terang. That was the miracle. They needed one bad swing to get out of that disaster. And the son of a gun did it. High fastball swung. I mean, he swung thinking that sucker was down the pipe. Woo! Man, that pain in the chest, it's amazing. The second that ball was missed, it's like instant relief. I mean, it was immediate. Oh, man, it felt so good. It's almost like, and I think this is why I'm still healthy and I still live a long life. It's probably because I don't stress anywhere else, right? And I don't know necessarily if that particular stress is the same as, oh, I can't pay a bill, or somebody's sick of, in terms of being sick, right? And they're possibly terminal, something like that, right? That feeling is almost like when you lose something and then you find it And then you say to yourself, man, it was almost worth losing this thing just to feel the amazing feeling of finding it. It's such a high that it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of how it felt. Like all this stuff that went on, it all went away. It made it feel better because of the result. Oh, I don't care that Roberts didn't play Blake through. I don't care that Roki didn't make it through. I don't care that Trident was in there. Like, I didn't care about any of that. All I cared about is the result was what I wanted. And now all that angst became euphoria. Snell is from Washington. That is true. That's good history there, Rafa. Let's see. America has too many places and it's smaller than Australia. True that. Oh, man. I got to catch up to some of your stuff, guys. Sorry. Dodgers, in fact, is a dynamic dynasty, a great model organization, unlike Yankees. Can't get over the hump. I didn't think I was going to talk Yankees here tonight, but the Yankees are, in some ways, have an abhorrent fan base, much very similar to the Lakers. I use the word abhorrent because that's what we are sometimes. The greatness of the organization precedes everything. Yankee fans want what they had in the past. What's the past, Gerald? Do they want Mickey Mantle? Do they want Joe DiMaggio? Yogi Berra?
Well, they're not coming through the dugout door anytime soon.
So let's talk about what the Yankees have been since, let's say, the last 60 years. So the Yankees in the last 60 years, since 1965, which is when the Dodgers lost them in Game 7. So 60 years, right? Is that right? 60 years? Yeah,
yes.
60 years. So since then, they won a couple championships in 77 and 78. And then they had a drought until 1996. Compared to what they did before 65. So they won since 1965, they won in 65, 78, 77, 78. Then it was the Jeter, Bernie Williams, Joe Torre, Mariano Rivera era. That area between 96 and 2000 where they won 4 out of 5. You've only really had one dynasty, really, for the last 60 years. Most of the dynasties in New York were before 65. I mean, they pretty much owned baseball for 50 years. And then they still won. Again, nothing to sneeze at. They won 8 championships since 1965. That's still good. But I think Yankee fans are forgetting that every run they had in winning championship had an iconic winner on it. And I know it kills you, and I know you guys know this. Aaron Judge is not that guy. He is in a lot of ways the everyday player Clayton Kershaw. He cannot perform in the playoffs. He's had his moments, but he doesn't will his team over. He doesn't have that capability. And I'm not just trying to dog on Aaron Judge. For the longest time, guys, Roger Clemens sucked in the playoffs. Mike Piazza didn't show up in the playoffs when he was doing his thing. Barry Bonds even was not good in the playoffs up until really 2002. And you can argue a lot of that was from, just saying. A lot of star players struggle in the playoffs. And the reason why they do is a lot of these guys have what I call Peyton Manning-itis. When you're too much of a perfectionist, you're trying to do things perfect in an area that you can't be perfect. You could probably be perfect in week 3, week 10, week 11, when you're playing a normal game. But when it comes to the playoffs, when it comes to big money games, You have to switch perfection to doing whatever it takes to win. That's why Peyton Manning struggled to win a lot of championships. That's why he came up short in a lot of those games. It's why Dan Marino came up short in a lot of games, because he was a perfectionist. The goal of the game is to win. Forget about perfect. It's about winning. And that's something that Tom Brady doesn't get enough credit for. Derek Jeter doesn't get enough credit for, because you're all thinking about numbers. Oh, well, Jeter never won an MVP. Jeter never did this. Jeter never did that. Jeter won 5 championships. How many players in the last 40 years have 5 championships that are the stars? Very few. I think before Jeter, it was Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson won 3 in Oakland, won 2 in New York. Mookie Betts right now, should the Dodgers win, will be sitting at 4. Mookie Betts has a very good chance at getting to 5 before he retires. It's a rare area to be in. So, a lot of details here, right? I didn't think I was going to be talking Yankees, but try to put things in perspective, you know?
Yeah.
After game 4 against Philly, nothing will rattle me. Yes, I'm glad you have that ability, Aaron, but I don't know why mine doesn't. Although I will feel a little bit comfortable if they win tomorrow. If they go up 2-0 after, leaving Milwaukee doesn't. They just don't have the lineup that scared me like Philly. Philly is a scary team. Philly was scary the whole year. I'm not scared of Milwaukee, and I hope I'm not jinxing it or anything, but I'm just saying that's just how I feel at the moment. Same. I'm glad you feel that way, because now I feel good that you feel good, because when you feel good, that makes me feel comfortable. Dodgers are rich as hell. So are the Yankees. So is Philly. So is San Francisco. Remember, guys, the guy that owns the San Francisco Giants has more billions than Mark Walter. Remember that. Let's see. Gregory, Dodgers bullpen have my heart beating like crazy, especially Trident. Boy, Trident is such a garbage this year. What the F, Dave? Keep going back to him. He want everybody to believe he can make the right decision. I think Gregory is in my 2019 phase with Dave Roberts, so I'm going to have to let Gregory let his steam out all the way through. Gregory, keep letting that out. Keep letting your frustration out. You're entitled to it. Joe is right. There are some crazy. What's up, Joe? Man, that was nerve-wracking. Would have liked to see Blake just finish the game line. Yeah, I know, Juan. I don't know. I have to see the interview. I want to see what. I'm sure somebody asked, were you thinking about leaving Snell in there? I'd like to see what Robert's answer to that was. I'm sure you got asked that. Dodgers got the starting pitching. Brewers got the bullpen. They do, but guys, Philly had a better bullpen. Philly's bullpen is better than Milwaukee's. Just saying. Dodgers should not have scored only 2 runs in this game. They should have scored 5 runs, excluding the freakish thing that we saw with the double play thing at the wall. They left a lot of runs on the table. They need to stop doing that. That needs to stop. Yes, Dodgers have home field. So essentially, they've gotten into 2 series and have taken home field immediately. If they end up winning this series at home, it essentially becomes it essentially becomes series where they had home field the entire time. Not at the beginning, but they did before the series is over, which is how I base home field. Home court, home field. If you win on your court, I guess you could win still. If you win a series and you have home field or home court, to me, that's you had home court in that series. So what I mean by saying that is if you win the first 2 games and then you lose the next 2 games at home and then you win the next 2 games on the road, you still had home field. Right, Gerald?
Yes.
Like
that's
technically,
correct.
it's a technical thing. Just saying.
BRB, my friend. You're back.
Sure. So, Aaron, yes, Aaron, they won at one point they won 12 road games in a row. They're the first loss during that run in 01 and 02 wasn't until game 2 against Sacramento. Pretty remarkable. 12 games. That means 12 arenas for a 2-year, almost a 2-year span of basketball playoffs had to watch their team lose to the Lakers. That's got to be demoralizing. So in 01, Portland saw the Lakers close them out in Portland in game 3. At that time, they had the 5-game series, right? In the second round, Kobe's 48-16 and blowing in his hands, they beat Sacramento in both those games to close them out. Then they closed out San Antonio just in reverse because San Antonio in 01 had home court. They closed out San Antonio on the road, essentially, by beating them in game 1 and game 2, and they never went back, right? Like all 5 of those games in the West saw losses. All 5 games in the West with those teams saw, and those are the hated teams of the Lakers, right? Saw losses. Every game that they saw the Lakers play were losses. Pretty demoralizing. Oh, and by the way, then the Lakers had the best one. They lose game 1 at home. Then they proceed to win 4 in a row by showing Philly every loss in their building.
Yeah, Iverson wasn't so big after that first game, was he?
I don't blame Iverson for that. I blame the refs for calling that offensive foul on Robert Horry and costing the Lakers a 50-0 run.
Yep.
That still bothers me. It still bothers me. So, but I will say this. It was nice to see, especially after them booing him. It was, even though it was late, I think it was the year later, right? Wasn't it the following year? Yeah. The Lakers won every single. I mean, it's 8 road games, and that just unbelievable. And then, of course, they won 9, and just that team. We lived in that 3-year period. We saw greatness on top of greatness, and I'm so happy we were able to witness that. Thank you for bringing that up, Aaron. By the way, made me more happy. Yes, Rafa, Yamo needs some damn run support. That's why the Dodgers have to get out of this funk, dude. And if they do, if they go on a hitting spree and they're up 6-0 after 3 innings, Brewers are toast. They're toast. They're going to be toast. Because they don't have that kind of team. They don't have a guy like Schwarber or maybe somebody like Bryce Harper where he can just hit a grand slam and get you back in the game. I mean, they have those guys, but they're not as prominent as those guys. Dodgers are way better than the Brewers. I think so. Maybe not in the regular season, but now at full throttle with their starting pitching, I think it could be coming. Inject Kim into the lineup. I think Kim will need an offseason to really get his hitting correct. And if he does get his hitting correct, he will be an everyday player. Because, man, he can be used and used a lot, especially at the 9 spot. Imagine if he can get on base on a regular basis. He'd be stealing left and right, putting Shohei in positions almost every game where he can get singles and getting him in to score. You'd probably start seeing his RBI number go up as a leadoff hitter. Need Freddie to surpass Altuve. I don't. It doesn't matter to me what Altuve has. Altuve is a cheating piece of shit. George Springer had this. They were talking about George Springer and his records. I'm like, you guys, the very least that they could have done with that piece of shit organization is they should have stripped every statistic from those years they were cheating. They should have stripped every single statistic from those assholes, at least in the playoffs. Seriously. Dodgers should be sitting at least on 3 titles right now. 3. Should be 4, actually. So, yeah, I'm never going to get over that. Brewers beat Dodgers in the regular season. Don't mean nothing. Playoffs are different. Dodgers built. Yeah, the Yankees the Mets beat the Dodgers in 88. I remember they were talking about how they lost 9 out of 10 during the regular season. Didn't mean shit, right? The playoffs are a different beast, man. Too many players left stranded. I think it was 20 by 2. Yeah, it was bad. Too many. And again, I'm giving them a little bit of leeway on this. That freak play doesn't happen again. They'll never have to deal with that again. The last 3 opponents, Reds, Phillies, and now Brewers, can't close out the Dodgers, especially in a 7-game series. Yeah, it's nice to see that. It's nice to see that the Dodgers keep that clutch gene going. Keep it going. If we have to go through this for 7 more wins, so be it. I don't give a shit. I just want them to hit so that it can be a little easier. But if this is the destiny of this team, if this is how they're going to have to win, 3-1, 2-1, 1-0, so be it. Just get 7 wins. I don't give a shit. I'll sacrifice 2 weeks of my life for this. I'm likely going to live to my mid-70s at the very least. If I die in January if I die in January instead of July, so be it. Seeing my teams win, it doesn't matter to me. 75 years. It still kind of sounds young for a lot of people, but hell, I'll have lived a very good life. Let's just put it that way. I've lived a pretty good damn life right now. Let's see. Where are we here? I was talking about Major League like an hour ago. I'm finally catching up to it. Ohtani Pages been MIA. Pages batting .038. Ohtani point. Yeah, Gregory, I mentioned this, and I know I'm way behind on my chat room stuff. Ohtani has affected these games, even not hitting well. So there's a difference between Pages and Ohtani. Pages needs to get going, and he's got to start getting hits so he can get out of his funk, because usually that's what happens. The Dodgers, the best team money can buy. Sure. So was the Yankees. So was Philly. And they didn't really do too well. Freeman is better than Ohtani when it comes to crunch. Sure. At this moment, I'm not going to argue against that. We'll see we'll see if he can match it. I think matching it would be something to be nice. Mark Snell was last with the Giants for those guys are talking to each other. Ari was expecting Blake Triton. I can't tell if you're doing that on purpose, Rafa. It's calling him Blake Triton because Vari has the worst spelling in the history of spelling. Dodgers won all first games of the postseason series last year. We are on the same trajectory this time so far. Very good point, Jennifer. They did. They lost game 2s in the NLDS and in the NLCS. Then they finally won game 2 in the World Series. And I remember talking to Jeff about this. I was like, can they just win a game 2 after winning a game 1? Just go win both home games for once. Because they never won both games. It'd been forever. They did it this year in the wild card game. They started 2-0 in the NLDS, even though it wasn't home. If they get this game tomorrow, it's likely a wrap. I just don't see Baltimore winning 4 of the next 5. Sorry, I don't. Could happen, but not likely. He's an amazing pitcher. I thought he looked semi-familiar. I might have seen him in the Giants. Yeah, Giants. Let's just not talk about the Giants. Kind of not good. I don't want to talk about the Giants. I don't want to see Triton no more. Gregory, look, man, this is why the hitting is going to be important. To avoid these high-stress, high-leverage endings, the hitting has to come through. So I'm asking the Dodgers to at least have 2 extended run games in this series. So let's say if they win it in 6, can you have at least 2 of those wins be stress-free at the end of games? Because then you're not having to rely on these guys coming through like this every game to win. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. What did I miss here? There we go. The bullpen is rested for tomorrow. Only use 2 relievers. Yes, that is true. That's another positive. That's no Joe. That's not going to pump up Trident. So Gregory's on the no Trident team. It's just what it is. I get it. But this was a big strikeout, Gregory. I don't know if it's still. I don't know if it means much, but it at least he got it. I'm just staying with that, man. Glad to see Freddie's homer. Yeah, I thought the second one was a homer too. That pissed me off that it didn't go out. Only way try and come in the game. Dodgers up 5+ runs. I agree with that. Dante, bro, that game was dope. That grand slam robbed was tough. Not gonna lie. Yeah, that was a bitch, man. That could have made this whole evening a little bit easier to deal with. But we saw an epic game, an epic ending. So in the long run, if the Dodgers win it all, we could look back at this game and enjoy it a little bit more. It's kind of like the Super Bowl 43 with the Steelers and Arizona Cardinals. If the Steelers were up 20-7 at one point in that game, and if a couple things go, if dumbass Ben Roethlisberger could just make one more play at the end of at the beginning of the fourth quarter, that game probably ends. That probably goes to 23-7, and it probably ends up being one of the boring games with a Steeler win. But we ended up seeing what we saw, and now we have a memory of throw it at the end of game-winning drive and Santonio Holmes in the corner. So it is what it is, guys. I don't know. As long as you win, I don't care. As long as you win, winning is all that matters. Harold Smith, welcome. The only podcast that tells the truth. Absolute idiots and hypocrites taking out of both sides of their mouths on all the others. Yeah, and again, I'm trying not to look. Guys like Gregory on the show, they were at the beginning of this, so I have to give Gregory props. He at the beginning, I'm sure, said he didn't want Trident in there. He didn't want Roki in there. A lot of people said should have ran with Snell all the way through. If you were those people, you have an argument. You have an argument. I'm not gonna definitely not gonna deny it. Joe, I went to the Commanders game. Oh wow, I didn't get a chance to see much of the game, but I did see the last second field goal. That's I didn't see Chicago winning that game. I'll be honest. I thought Washington was going to come away with that, but good for them. I like Ben Johnson. I hope he continues to get better. And jury's still out on Caleb Williams. I don't know what's going to happen with him in the end. Yeah, so yeah, I thought that too. Again, I felt very dumb after that play, Gerald. I didn't know what was what. And I have an ongoing joke that I still don't know what a balk is. And I really don't.
I thought if it hits the foul pole and the yellow line, I thought it's a home run.
I thought and it did. He missed the catch and it hit the yellow line, and I thought it was a home run. I don't know. I don't know what a balk is. I didn't know what was going on at that moment. So to blame Teo for not tagging up, for Will Smith to be trotting back and forth, not knowing where the hell he is, I didn't know where I was. I've watched at least 5,000 baseball games in my time. That's just a guess. That's just a simple guess. Might be more. Might be a little less. I don't know. I had never seen a play like that. And I always thought ball hitting that yellow line is a home run. But I guess it bouncing back doesn't mean that. So what's that yellow line for then, Gerald? I got to go find out. Like, what is the yellow line for?
Yeah, what does the yellow line serve if it's not the demarcation line for a home run?
No idea.
I don't know.
Yeah, I lost it. I lost all knowledge of baseball. I thought.
And how is that different from the foul pole? Because if it hits the foul pole, right? Correct. If it hits the foul pole, even if it goes foul, it's still a home run. Is that correct?
Foul pole,
now,
yes.
Right?
Yes, yeah. It's if you hit the foul pole, it's a home run.
Supposed to be, yeah.
Yes.
So, okay, why isn't that yellow line extend to that yellow line that's right there at the top of the wall?
So I'm going to find that out before the next show, and we'll talk. We'll bring it up. So for those of you who are here for the first time, obviously the regulars, I'm gonna find this out. I'm sure you guys will probably be able to do your own research and find out before then. But I will make it a subject and let you know. Oh wow, my buddy just had his daughter born.
Oh,
2 hours ago. Wow.
Congratulations,
Steve. I know you're not watching, but congratulations on your newborn. God bless. Health sounds like she's healthy. 6 pounds, 7 ounces, almost the same size as my oldest, Sophia. She was 6 pounds, 3 ounces. So I'm going to get to the end here real quick. I'm going to have to make some phone calls. Empire Jeff is.
And then congratulations again to John Costa for.
John Costa, congratulations on your future nuptials. Jeff messaged at 9:01. It's 10:21 right now. Again, guys, I on the show we talk more on the show than I know Jeff is good at following the chat, but the way Gerald and I do our shows, we're usually more of the talkers and the entertainers here. But I try to catch up with everybody as much as I can.
Then why have a yellow line? It's because at the end here, because Bronny says yellow line is still in the field. Why have a yellow line? Why is it there? If it's still in the field, why have it?
It's a very valid question.
The purpose.
Yeah, it's a valid question.
The purpose, Joe.
It's a valid question. It really is. So I gotta find that out. I don't know what that yellow line's for, and I want to find out. Let's see here, Gregory. I promise Empire Jeff, if Dodgers win champion, I would tell him you're right, because I've been critical of Dave all year. There's nothing wrong with being critical with Dave. Dave has created the criticism on his own, but it's going to be very difficult to be critical if he wins back-to-back championships.
Yeah, how can you?
You can't. You can't fake back-to-back championships. You can't be lucky to win a championship either. But there are times where the right path and you win a championship, it happens. But back-to-back is a different story. Back-to-back, it is. Rick Fox talked about this. Rick Fox talked about the 01 team winning a championship. Like, winning a championship with Kobe and Shaq is good. It was an achievement. But winning one is not what that talent is supposed to do. That talent is supposed to three-peat. At least repeat. And they three-peated. You had the modern-day Wilt Chamberlain, and at that point, which is weird to say modern-day Michael Jordan, because Michael was still playing around that time. But you had the younger phase of the next Michael Jordan, all in their primes, or about to hit. One of them was about to hit his prime, or could say it was in his prime, right? His early prime. You have to win more than one. And when you win more than one, and especially if you repeat, it's impossible to criticize anything. So that's why the decision to go the way he went isn't as harsh, because it worked. Old school football plays. You are a fake Dodgers fan. Fake Dodgers fan for talking bad about Roberts. You keep talking about how bad Roberts is. What happened? We won. Okay, so old school football plays is defending his manager. And I'm not upset about that either.
Okay, hold on. Wait, because Bronny's trying to explain this. A yellow line in baseball can indicate a home run depending on the specific stated rules. That does not help anybody, Bronny. That does not. So depending on what day it is, what hour it is, what time it is, if there's enough hot dogs in the stands, it's a home run, Joe. But if it's not, and the stadium doesn't like it for whatever reason, it's not, Joe. So that's.
I appreciate you finding out that information, but I gotta find out a little bit more on what really is going on with that, because it almost affected a series.
Yeah.
What is the yellow line for, if not to explain a simple rule? If that ball hits the yellow line, is it a home run? If it's a no, why is it there?
Exactly.
Simple question. Simple question. Fans need to check themselves if the first thing out of your mouth is a complaint after winning a game. Jennifer, I'm gonna back up Gregory here. Gregory has PTSD, like I had PTSD when it comes to Dave Roberts. My therapist, Empire Jeff, has helped me cope with my PTSD with Dave Roberts. So I've had some assistance in that. I have to. It's the only therapy I've ever taken in my life. By the way, it wasn't voluntary; it just happened. He's calmed me down in that, and again, winning has helped ease that as well. So I don't want anyone to get on guys that are still hurting from certain decisions, because it puts a stress. Tonight's stress was because it was a unique. It was a unique process that you rarely see these days. Blake Snell was dominant for 8 innings in a row. There was no weakness at any point of that game in 8 innings. So those who are angry that they didn't go all the way with Blake have an argument because of how well he was pitching.
I got to ask him how he felt. Maybe it was something he communicated to Dave Roberts, though.
I don't know. I don't know. That's why I got to see the post game. I started the show almost immediately after the game was over, because I haven't had a chance to do that. I wanted to. Again, Money Mark in Australia, he's always asking me, are you going to do a show? Are you going to do a show? And I felt like, you know what? Mark keeps asking me after these games to do a show. I'm going to do a show. And this is for everyone else too, because we had a pretty big audience here today, and I want to thank you all for being here. Again, for those of you who just joined or watched, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. We're going to be doing more of these shows, especially after the games, because I'm feeling something coming here. If the Dodgers end up winning 7 more games, it's going to be a party here. We're going to be talking all year long, especially Lakers and what they're going to be hopefully doing soon as well. One of the things I've learned as I've gotten older is I have learned that sometimes both people are right and both people are wrong. It's not one or the other. In this scenario, both of you are right. You have an argument on how things were decided in the end and being critical. And you also, Jennifers and the who was the other guy, the new guy? I just forgot his name. Excuse me 1 second here. He had a long name. Great, now I can't find it. Anyways, he had said that you're not a real fan if you're going to be criticizing after a loss. Old school football plays. You guys have an argument on your end too, and I respect your argument and I respect your comments as much as I respect Gregory's, because you are looking at it from a winning area. I think Gregory's thinking of the emotional toll that it took, which my heart was beating out of my chest. But I think because they've been winning these games, I think I've been able to control the PTSD a little bit more. As long as you win, it eases the pain. Johnny 2K, man, I haven't seen him in a while. Just peeked at the 88 Dodgers roster. And oh my, what a name. Oral Hershiser. That's why Tommy Lasorda. And by the way, when you look at Oral Hershiser, he looks every bit an Oral Hershiser. That's why Tommy that's why Tommy called him Bulldog. He did not. He hated his name. Oral said this in an interview. He goes, he didn't like my name, so he called me Bulldog. What up, Joe? Happy to get the win. I would have liked Snell to finish the game. Yes. That's the topic of the night, man. Was fully expecting it. And I remember telling Jeff, I said, dude, if this thing doesn't go well, you are going to see the Dave Roberts mob like you've never seen it before. He goes, dude, they're going nuts already. Because he's on Twitter, he's on TikTok. Those guys, they're verbal. They're nuts. Almost a brain melt, but all good. Now winners are grinners. Yeah, that's a good one too. I haven't heard that one before. All winners are grinners. Let's see here. We are JY. You were at the '88 Lakers parade, Gerald. Did you get a chance to make that parade by any chance?
No. But like I said, I do have the shirt. No, did I? I don't remember if I did. I don't think I did because that was downtown LA. I was in Torrance then, so I'm gonna probably say no because I was out of high school, was going to college, so I don't think I did. I don't want to say I did and did, but I got the shirt. I still got the back-to-back world champion shirt right up there. Looking at it right now.
So I went to the 2001 and 2002 parades. 2001 wasn't bad. 2002 was not a good area to be in. You saw the gutter trash of LA in that one. So much so that Lawrence Tanter had to get on the mic and scream at people to stop throwing bottles of beer in the air. And you smelled weed everywhere, and you saw what you can imagine you see in the shittiest part of LA. The hoods, the tattooed crazy fuckers, all those scumbags that you would imagine that would be in LA, all in this one little area where they were just creating just the dumbest shit. And you're like, the second, if one of us just went over there and said, hey, shut the hell up, there'd be a mob, right? That kind of thing. So that was the last time I ever gone to an LA parade. It's likely going to be the last one I'll ever go to. It's just not my kind of environment. I don't like seeing those kind of people doing 8-year-old things when they're grown-ass adults. Just absolute abhorrent people that were throwing bottles, dude. Beer bottles. A lot of those beer bottles were full on top of that. If some kid gets hit in the face, they're breaking their orbital bone with that shit. Just stupid. Like, what possesses a fucking man to throw a half-full beer bottle over and over again with a bunch of fucking jackals? Stupid. When is Ohtani going to win NLCS or World Series MVP? What's his batting average in the postseason? Right now, it's 138. No, that's
it's 138. That's Ohtani.
Or is that 138? Pages 138. So Pages is even lower than that. It's going to be hard for Ohtani to do anything unless he jumps on things and the guys behind him put him in a position where they have to throw pitches to him. Because he got walked 3 times. He got walked the last 3 at-bats. He's not going to win shit that way. But the guys behind him need to hit. They get him on base, and there's more than one guy on base. You got to score, man. You got to get these guys in. That has to change. It's hard, man. It's hard. They're not pitching to him, so I don't know. We'll see. Where's he? Joe gets stuck. I wonder what happened there. Hey, Joe, Ohtani has $700 million contract. Fans don't want to see walks, my friend. Hey, man, I'm sure he doesn't want to see walks. That's the other team making him walk. Joe, don't forget about the great one. Wayne won 4 straight with Edmonton. Did they win 4 straight?
I believe so.
I don't remember them winning 4 straight.
Hold on, let me find out.
I don't think they won 4 straight.
I'll find out. Hold on. 84. No, they missed in 86. That's why. 84, 85,
yeah,
87, 88.
86 was the Canadians won. That was Patrick Waugh's first championship with Montreal.
4 out of 5.
Yeah, they won 4 out of 5. The Islanders before them 4 in a row. The Canadians won 4 in a row before them, and then the Flyers won back-to-back in 74 and 75. Essentially, between 1968 and 1979, it was Montreal, Boston, or Philly winning the Stanley Cup. So for 12 seasons, you just kept seeing Montreal, Boston, Philly winning championships. And then before then, it was Montreal and the Maple Leafs. And then the Blackhawks snuck in there in 61. And then of course, you get into the 50s. Then you see a little bit more like the Red Wings, and still the Canadians won one and all that. So I still remember some of that stuff from when I used to be able to follow hockey in the 90s. But right now, I'm really off. I gotta get rich, really, really, really rich, to where I can actually start watching everything. Or have to work, can retire. 3 more subs for 160. Yes, I'm looking. I'm thinking I could probably get to 200 here if I do more shows throughout the week. Probably get to 200 probably by the end of the month. But I'd have to do a show probably every day. I don't know if that's possible, but we'll see. Also, back-to-back on Kershaw's final year in the league. Yeah, I would like to see if there's any chance. That's the kind of like beyond winning a championship. I would love to see Kershaw throw the last 3 outs in a championship winning game. They're up 7-1, and Roberts gives the 9th inning to Kershaw, and he closes it out. Bronny James. Bronny's here. Bronny, I don't say LeBron because he doesn't deserve it.
I think you need to speak to awful coaching, Bronny James, because he made another just absolutely fantastic video on you. Bronny James is the worst player ever to be given an NBA contract. I'm going to give free pub to awful coaching. It's the latest video, guys. He had actually another whopper about a week and a half ago. So check out his stuff. He does some really good stuff.
Sun Hangman is here.
Yeah, asking you dumb questions. Like,
hey, Joe, what's up with the snow bunnies? Snow bunnies? Guys, I want to surprise you guys with another lob dunk tomorrow. Joe, I have a good feeling about the Lakers this year. So do I. We have Luka Doncic. That's a good feeling. Joe, asada, al pastor, or chicken tacos? I'd pick asada. However, there is a smoked tuna fish taco place in South San Diego in Chula Vista / Bonita. The greatest taco ever made. If you ever find yourself over there, go over there. It's called TJ Oyster.
Well, I already told you down there is the best burrito I've ever had. As far as
I got to go check that out. I keep forgetting to ask you where that is. Send me the text.
Yeah. Okay.
Send me a text. Jay, bro, how about this? You stop making snide comments about me and concentrate on other things. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I got bad while you were talking. It got
Money
really
Mark
bad.
is
I'll talk to you about that off air.
Fire. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll talk to you about that off air.
He is on fire. Guys, you can feel Mark's fire in his words.
Yeah.
But you have been nothing but a smart arse to me, mate. Guys, don't bother Mark. Mark will find you, and he will rip your throat out in your sleep. How are the Mariners so good, Joe? How are they so good?
They're up 2-0, my friend.
Well, here's the thing. What makes a team good, especially at this time of year, is are you able to hit when it matters? So right now, Polanco's Teoscar, he's basically Teoscar Hernandez right now when he was playing last year during the title run. Anytime that guy has any chance at hitting something that's going to allow runs to come in, he's hitting it. They're concentrating on Raleigh. He's still hitting. Julio Rodriguez is hitting. He's clutch. He's been clutch. Arozarena is always playoff ready. He's always doing something in the playoffs. Naylor had a freaking amazing game today. And every team seems to have a Suarez. Have you noticed that? Is there like 15 Suarez's playing in the major leagues? Every time I saw Suarez, I'm like, which Suarez? What are you talking about? Who? What? So the reason why they're good is they just have that ability to make the clutch plays, and that's all baseball is in the playoffs. Can you make the clutch plays? And then you have pitching staffs. Yeah, you pitching staffs are so weird. Stars don't look like stars. Rookies look like stars. Guys that suck during the regular season become stars. At any given moment, the pitching can be elite, no matter who it is. Like tonight, the freaking Brewers threw a bullpen game. They almost won. And their closer, their best guy, stunk ass. The Dodgers just made one damn hit. They would have opened up that game and won 4-1 probably. Probably 4-0 because I don't think they would have played as hard in the bottom of the ninth if they were down 4-0 instead of 2. So that's all baseball is, guys. I mean, if you really look at the history of baseball, the stars aren't always the stars. When you look at those Yankee teams, since we were talking about the Yankees, the reason why those Yankee teams were so good, that it was the Tino Martinez's, it was the Scott Brosius's. Those guys were so freaking clutch. Jim Leyritz in '96, if he doesn't hit that home run, the Braves probably sweep the Yankees. It wasn't until they started signing the Giambis, the Musinas, and those guys are good players. They're stars. But if you notice, when they started signing those guys, like every star after losing the 0-1 World Series, they didn't win again. Winning with stars doesn't always work. It just doesn't. It doesn't always work. You can't buy a championship. It's easier to compete and go to the playoffs, but to win it all, a lot of things have to come together, and a lot of times you need those complementary players to be big players when it matters. Why isn't Curt Schilling in the Hall of Fame? He is a Cy Young. Curt Schilling is such an asshole. He almost rivals Barry Bonds in that category. He might be worse, actually. He is such a dick that he has alienated so many people. This has nothing. This is just his personality. I don't know what his politics are. I don't know what. And I haven't heard from Curt Schilling in years, by the way. I don't hear anything about Curt Schilling. So that doesn't help me either because he's not up. If he, let's say, if he was in A-Rod's position on Fox, he probably would be in the Hall of Fame. But he's such a dick. No one wants to work with him. No one wants to be around him. Joe, is Dave Roberts a Hall of Fame coach if he wins the World Series? Yes, he is. Because if he wins the World Series, he passes Bobby Cox in third, and he'll be in third place for the most wins.
Now, well, let me just say this, Joe. Son Heung-min. Now, this is a legitimate question. But when you ask Joe, did you see the Portland Timbers game? Or you ask Joe, like the many 50 other questions you have, this legitimately good question that you make gets caught in the midst of all the other 70 questions that you sent Joe in this chat that he doesn't have the answer for, or that he didn't see the Portland Timbers Seattle Rounders game. You know that. You know the answer to these questions on a lot of occasions. But you asked a good question here, but the problem is when you feed it through and surround it with a whole bunch of just lame questions that you know is annoying, that you already know the answer to, it just fills up the chat with just blah. Come on. So that makes this question harder for him to go ahead and answer. You're better than that, Son. Come on.
So let me throw a bone to Son. I'm okay with the goofy questions because he does mix it in with good questions too.
Yeah, but the thing is, you don't. You
I know,
after a while, it's like the dog who the boy who cried wolf. The boy who cried wolf.
I got
after
really,
a while, you just ignore it.
Yeah, I got really pissed off last night, and I think Son might have kind of got the blowback on it a little bit. He's been very respectful tonight, and usually he is. It's just
he's still asking you a lot of.
That's fine. Again, Gerald, it's okay. It's okay. Thank you for backing me up on that.
Your channel.
Yeah, thank you. Man. Appreciate it. But last night, Son did piss me off because when I saw R.I.P. Phil Jackson, you want to talk about my heart dropped? All the shit that I dealt with tonight and the few nights earlier with the Phillies didn't compare it to that 2-second read. And when I found out it was fake, I was fucking pissed. I was more pissed than I looked on the show. I was really pissed.
Well, that's my point exactly. If he's telling you,
but I think he learned his lesson.
Well, no, he didn't, because he's still asking you.
That's fine. If he wants to ask me about the Timbers or about the Aces, I've said it.
But
I've said it before.
Talking about your thoughts on Joe. Thoughts on Mike Bibby being the Sacramento State basketball coach. Joe, it's going to rain the next 2 days.
It's okay. It's okay.
I mean, it's just clutter. And then the problem is when he asks a good question, it's just so hard to weed it out through all the crap.
It's okay. It's okay. He is my friend Glendy's favorite athlete right now, next to Ohtani. So I'll placate him a little bit. But yeah, to answer your question there, Son, Dave Roberts is 7 wins away from passing Bobby Cox as in third place for most playoff wins. He'll be behind. The manager of the A's and the St. Louis Cardinals. Gerald,
are you talking about which one?
The championship ones.
Valentine?
No, he never won a championship with St. Louis and Tony La Russa.
Oh, Tony,
he'll be behind.
If you would have said Chicago White Sox, I would have been like,
sorry.
Oh yeah,
he'll be only behind Tony La Russa, which he can pass next year if he makes I think all he has to do is make a deep run
because of this. If he wins,
and then I think Joe Torre has 84.
And Joe, you're going to induct him when he gets him.
No one wants Dave Roberts in the Hall of Fame more than me. No one. Other than Jeff. If Dave Roberts is third all-time in playoff wins and wins his third championship, should be 4 because of the cheating cocksuckers, he is now going to be in the Hall of Fame because a repeat is that you can't go beyond that. You just can't. That's just too much value there. Especially,
that's the thing with Son. Again, going right back to Son. Drip Show just took your words, Joe, and said, "Wait, R.I.P. Phil Jackson, the Zen Master," and he's like, he was believing it too.
Yeah,
Drip, he's fine. He's still alive. He's in Montana. He's still good. The fact we're having to do this. And that's why, I'll talk to you off air about Mark. It just gets frustrating that you cannot have intelligent conversations sometimes because people just want to troll. They just want to troll.
That's not trolling. That's
they are.
That's really pissing people off. That's a disrespect, especially with you're talking about diehard Laker fans who love Phil Jackson. I love Phil Jackson. I love that man. That man is.
He's saying he's autistic, so that's why he's asking you earlier. How do you cook your steak?
Who's autistic?
Son Heung-min.
Really? How do I cook my steak? Medium. Of course, that's always a problem with my family because they like their freaking steak or their meat burnt to the crisp. So I'm trying to teach my kids how to eat steak the right way, and my wife's always like, "Hey, I see yellow, and I see red in it, and I see pink. Just eat it." I wish the Dodgers had a man as a coach. Jay and Cool Bro. Cool Bro returns like Roman Reigns. AD had a monster game tonight. It's a preseason game, for God's sakes. What do you mean at a monster night? Bucks build a trash team next to Giannis. I'm sure he'll ask for a trade. I certainly hope so. We'll see where he'll want to go too. Thoughts on James Franklin getting fired?
The Bucks are you talking about Team Antetokounmpo, Joe? Because it seems like every player on the team is named Antetokounmpo now.
Maybe not.
I mean, they've got 3. How many brothers are there?
I don't know. 4 total.
Sign him up too, I guess. Yeah.
Thoughts on James Franklin getting fired? James Franklin, I asked Sean Grice this. I said, why did he get hired at Penn State? Was it to fill in a box? Stop filling boxes. I'm just guessing, by the way. I don't have any evidence of this. But stop filling boxes, people. Please, just get the most qualified player or coach or player or whatever. Did you talk about Miguel Rojas retiring? No, I have not. Thanks, Drip Show. Miguel Rojas, when they were celebrating after the NLDS win, he had mentioned that he is going to retire after next year. Miguel Rojas will be a manager in the majors in the future. That man is another guy that absolutely is this Dodger. When they win the championship this year, there's an argument for them being a dynasty. This era of baseball, Dodger baseball, has so many players that I just absolutely adore. I love Justin Turner. I love Miggy Rojas. Love Freddie Freeman. I mean, love these guys. Even Chris Taylor and all the frustration towards the end with him. Loved him. Loved Barnes. Love these guys. Bellinger pissed me off towards the end, but now that I've kind of relaxed on it, miss him too. These guys gave so much joy in the last decade of baseball. They all should be celebrated. They're all champions. And I'm just happy I was able to watch these amazing people play. They gave me a lot of joy, and they all should be celebrated. They all had a hand in the amazing run that they continue to have. What's going on, Joe? I saw you.
I'm watching that awful coaching video on Bronny James is the worst player ever to be given an NBA contract video while you're talking. And because I'm listening to you, but I have him on turned off on the volume, just watching it. And you can see, sorry, Bronny, in the chat, you can see the lack of hustle that's there. I mean, he's pointing it out. And, if you watched awful coaching, he screams louder than Joe does, if that's possible. And
I've seen that video, yeah.
And he just posted this one today based off of last night's game against Golden State. And you see that he pointed out 3-4 times where just Bronny gave up layups because he just didn't hustle. And it's whether you want to say entitled or just not understanding that, the ramifications of these things. It's the decision making. I'm watching part around where it's the poor decision making. It just it reiterates what Joe and then to a lesser extent myself have been saying about Bronny. It's something where I just him as an NBA player, I just don't think it's going to work. He needs to understand that the NBA it's more than just entitlement. You have to be able to go and play the game to the fullest, and I'm just not seeing that right now. I mean, these videos, again, he does it for dramatic purposes and yells and screams and whatnot, but he brings up these good points. They're really valid, Joe. I mean, that's the thing with awful coaching. You can say all you want about the way he does it, but he's pointing it out just how many things that Bronny James has yet to learn in the NBA. And I think a lot of it is due to the entitlement he's had.
So human nature, being a human being, it's a flaw. It's a very flawed species. Bronny James has never tasted desperate, and he never will. LeBron James started his life not a good setup. He had to stay with a particular family because mother couldn't do certain things, and that's a sad situation to be in, obviously. But I'm going to take a guess that he doesn't really remember a lot of that. But what LeBron really remembers is probably since he was 13, he has been catered to. Now, I want you to imagine this. My memory before 13 years old is very, very minimal. So imagine 13 is right around that time where I started, where I have vivid memories of what I was doing when I was 13, 12, 13. It's right around that age. Imagine where you start to get to that age where you start to remember things years later. All LeBron has known is people kissing his ass and giving him things he wanted.
Yeah.
So it's impossible for him not to feel entitled. Now imagine his kids.
And I can understand that. Again, it's just human nature, and I'm not, faulting him, but just these mistakes. There's just something to the fact that he feels comfortable because he's got a guaranteed contract. He's the son of LeBron James, et cetera, et cetera. But it's just not good for the Lakers, Joe. It just, these things when he's out there, for every lob, dunk, or whatever you see, there's just so many things that people can point out as far as what he's not doing right that he has to fix. He has to fix it if he wants to stay in the league. Otherwise, as soon as that 3-year guarantee is up, and if LeBron's not there, I don't know.
It's not anything other than a disgrace to the operation. And whether this changes the dynamics of Bronny James's life or LeBron's life doesn't concern me. What bothers me, what's bothered a lot of us with LeBron James is hypocrisy. And it's not just LeBron, it's people in general have this. People who are entitled, most people who have entitlement things, there are really two things that usually they possess. One is they're massive narcissists, and the other is selfish, which is pretty much the same. And they try to justify that narcissism and the selfishness by saying, look at me, I'm not going to jail, and I'm a good dad because I'm at home, and this and that. Like all the shit that you're supposed to not do. Why am I giving you a prize because you're not a fuck up like that? I don't give a shit that you haven't been arrested or you're married and you got, like, that's what you're supposed to do. I'm not giving you a freaking handshake for being present in your family's life or being a good friend or taking care of your community when you're a multi-billionaire. That's what you're supposed to do. And how you ruin it is by saying one thing and doing another. Talking about how other people are privileged, and then your dumbass wants the same privilege. Or acting like you don't privileged either. I gave a very good example about equality. It's a very good one. I think everyone can understand it. I'm gonna say it one more time. I walk into a restaurant. There's one table left. I'm Joe Soro. You guys know who I am, but I'm a nobody really out there, right? Some of you know me. but I'm not a public guy. I'm not out there like famous people, right? There's one table left in that restaurant, and I walk in the same time Michael Jordan's nephew comes in. Who do you think is getting that table? Mind you, I'm using Michael Jordan as an example. I'm not going to throw it all on LeBron. I'm using something totally different so I can be away from the LeBron discussion for a minute. I'm talking about equality. I go into the same restaurant that Michael Jordan's nephew. I say his nephew, not Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan walks in, it's over. Not talking about Michael Jordan. That's an easy one to go with, I guess. I could use that as an example, but I'm not. Michael Jordan's nephew walks into the same restaurant I walk into, and there's one table left. Who the hell do you think is getting that table?
Good point.
There you go. So stop talking about equality like it's handing out candy to the right people, to the wrong people. Equality is a fucking illusion. Equality is only as good as its network. You want to tie it to looks, you want to tie it to lineage, you want to tie it to whatever, doesn't matter. I just gave you a very clear example about how things work in the real world. Now, I could get lucky. I could have a manager who owns that restaurant that says, no, we don't cater to anyone. There's always the exception to the rule. But I guarantee you 99% of the time, if I'm walking in that restaurant the same time I'm walking into Michael Jordan's nephew, that son of a gun is going to get that table before I do. And am I going to go outside and cry about equality? No. I'm going to go to another restaurant. Or I'll wait another turn. Because that's life. You're not going to get what you want all the time. And a lot of times it's unfair. And you know how I'm going to get through it, Gerald? You know how I can get through that? You know what the first thing that came to my mind when I thought of that example? If that food and that service is good, I'm going to blow them up. On reviews, give a good tip. My uncle ran restaurants his whole life until he retired. He used to always say, Joe, if you really eat good food, go to the back and tip the cook, tip the chef. And your food will always be good the rest of your life when you go to that restaurant. You will never have a problem with food ever again in that restaurant. Did I sit there and whine and cry? Oh, quality. Work around it. Be better. Just like Michael Jordan when he got cut from the varsity team. What did he do? Did his mommy go, play my kid. It's not equal. No. She said, you got to work harder this summer. There you go. It's the lesson to learn there. Lesson to learn. Last post. Last post. That can't be the last post.
Exactly what I mean. Exactly what I mean.
No. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, Gerald. It's fun. It's interesting.
But son, he's not going to get it for an hour and a half. So.
Hold on. I'm going to go the 3 hours. I didn't think I was going to do 3 hours tonight, but I'm going to go the 3 hours. First of all, I hate cigarettes. Loathe cigarettes. And I grew up around chimneys all over. Even my cousins turned into chimneys. And by the way, they all quit smoking except for a couple people, right? Hate cigarettes. Vapes are trash. But I do take a puff every now and then with friends who vape because they have those tasty cherry type flavored ones. Yeah, once in a while, I'll take a swig at it and go, this tastes good. I don't inhale it. I just take a taste and I'm like, oh, good. I'm a cigar guy on celebratory occasions. That's my choice of smoke. And that's it. Let's see. There's a lot more. Joe hasn't said the P word so far. Joe's thoughts on the Jets having 11. The Jets. I'd be hard pressed to say that the Jets are not the worst organization in football right now, and that's crazy to say that considering the Cleveland Browns and the Las Vegas Raiders exist. Joe, any advice on the Phillies pitcher who's screwed up? I'll say a couple Hail Marys for him, but life sucks sometimes. That's one of those times. Hold on, there was something else somebody said here. There we go. What do you think, Sorrow? What do you drink while watching Lakers or Dodger games? Water. I'm not a drinker, guys. I don't drink beer at home usually. I'm not an alcohol guy unless it's at a social gathering with friends.
Or a Lakers fast break late night with Joe.
Late night when I'm trying to make LFB some money. Yeah.
I hope Intel Wild's okay. I haven't seen him on for about a week or so. Hope he's doing good.
Let's see, we already got that. Joe is way behind on the chat. I am way behind on the chat. I don't think I'm going to catch up, guys. We have.
That's okay. I got into a thing with Brawny there about.
We have 15 minutes until I can catch up. That's funny. Let's see here. I'm trying to catch up to all this.
Yes, I did. He was stressed out, Gregory, on that as far as the Padres manager.
Thoughts on USC beating Michigan? Overdue. USC and Lincoln Riley are starting to build some momentum.
They got the top recruiting class for next year, but we've seen this before, Joe, where they.
I know, but I'm trying, man.
And they just don't put it together on the field.
I know.
So I'm keeping my. I'm trying to, because I went to USC for a cup of coffee, but I'm trying to temper my enthusiasm, Joe, because USC since the early 2000s have always let me down. They always let me down. And I hear all the hype and I hear like, oh yeah, they've got the top 5 recruiting class, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they always end up whatever coach is doing it. It's whatever coach is coaching, it just don't get it done. And I want to see it on the field, and I want to see him put in that place. Now, Maivia is he's really good. Went from UNLV to USC. He is much better than I thought. I really did not think he was going to be that great at USC, but he's really having an outstanding year, Joe. But let's see them get it done. They almost won at Illinois. They better win at Notre Dame because they can't afford to lose another game if they want to get into the playoffs. They can't, unless maybe if they're close loss to Oregon. If they beat Notre Dame and have a close loss to Oregon, they could maybe find a way in. But yeah, I would say they have to win out from here. That loss in Illinois really hurt them.
Football in Southern California is always better when USC is playing better, which has not been the norm other than that 5-year span with Pete Carroll and the stars that were there at the time. I'm cheering on the USC because I don't want the Lincoln Riley thing to go for naught. The guy is a talented coach, but he's in an area that's very difficult to be consistent. That's why Nick Saban didn't go to USC when there was a lot of talk about him talking or somebody talking to him about that. He didn't even go to Texas. And you would naturally think Texas would be. Texas always seems to be in and out of the, is it Southern hospitality type? It's not really. It's kind of its own area. It's not the Midwest. It's not the South. It's not the West Coast. It's Texas. It's its own entity. And Texas has a huge amateur football culture to the point where it's obnoxious. In the South, it's not obnoxious. It's just a way of life. It's a little bit different. So I think Nick Saban, I'm paraphrasing this because there had been talks that were going around on whether he might go to Texas, he might go to USC, and the explanation on why he didn't leave, because those guys would have paid him God knows how much money to leave, right? But his answer was that those players are less likely to listen and be disciplined than the boys down in Alabama and guys in Baton Rouge, guys at Georgia. It's a different culture. Even though it's similar, but it's not. I think he came to the conclusion pretty early on. This is a man that coached at Toledo. He coached at Michigan State. Like, he'd been in areas, coached in Miami, coached in Cleveland, in the NFL. He's going to know. No one's going to not know more than Nick Saban in terms of the psychology and the tenor of an area. He didn't leave because he knew that the message wouldn't resonate in Texas, and it definitely wouldn't work in USC. They're just not, the kids over there are not like that. So Lincoln Riley maybe is a little bit more modern type coach, more of that kind of ilk, and let's see if he can truly become the next Pete Carroll there. Not in terms of the way he coaches, but in terms of the success that they're going to have at USC. Because when USC plays well and they're competing for championships, it's a much better. College football gets really, really fun. And I'm tired of Ohio State, SEC, and then that's it. I want something else. I want another powerhouse football team to be a perennial title contender. I want it to happen. I want it to work. Oh, let's see if we can catch up all the way through. Still behind. My point is, it doesn't have to get to that point. Leave Snell in the game. It would have been over quickly. Why make something harder when you don't have to? Congratulations, Dodgers want to get it. See, Gregory's starting to get the heat, and I don't want him to get the heat because he's right. He's not wrong. He is not wrong. You're right, Gregory. You're not wrong either. Joe, did you know about Padre? Yeah, I did. I think Mike said it best. Mike Shield retired today. I think the pressure and the headache was just too much.
He indicated that the stress was just too much.
It was killing him, and I think a lot of it had to do with inside the house. It's hard to manage guys like Fernando Tatis and Manny Machado. They're not made to be the leaders of anything. They're going to be Hall of Fame players likely, but they're not leading anybody. And if you don't have at least a couple players that are leaders, it's very hard for a manager, especially in today's game, to assert a lot of their will on that team so that they can kind of get over whatever hump that they run into. Joe, does Mark Walter even care about Bronny? No, right? Can care less. The thing with the Bronny James thing is it's gonna clear itself out. You don't really have to do with it. The fact that it's allowed to happen is what's pissed me off. Bronny James is going to cancel himself out at some point. It's just not gonna work. I don't know why they're trying to attempt this. They don't have time for this shit. I've caught up, Gerald.
You've caught up, indeed.
I've caught up. And it looks like everyone else is probably burnt out, ready to go to bed. And I am ready to as well. So, Gerald, thank you for coming on to the experiment.
No problem. Can I just say one thing?
Sure.
Please, guys, on the LFB, tomorrow we've got, of course, playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. So join us on playback for the game. Afterwards, we are doing a post game because it is the Lakers and the Suns from Phoenix. It was so funny because what I've been telling you, Joe, about how the schedule makers made a back-to-back. It was actually listening to Low Post and Dan Wokey of the formerly of the Times, now the Athletic, who covers the Lakers. He was even saying, "Why do you schedule 4 exhibition games within a week?" It just blows my mind. But yeah, if you guys want to go ahead and check it out tomorrow night, Luca and Marcus Smart are both confirmed to play tomorrow. They won't be here in Vegas, so whoever's paying $70 for the minimum seats for the game in Vegas has got to be nuts, because you won't see Luca, LeBron, or pretty much anybody else for that matter that you care about. And then I'm just putting my NBA team previews, Joe. They're running through. Earlier today, which one did I do? I think I posted Portland. I think for everyone out there. So yeah, getting through all the NBA team previews right there, interviewing people from all around the world that cover these teams. So go ahead and check them out. Yeah, it's really good. I got Sacramento, I believe, on the way tomorrow with Kevin Zamani. So yeah,
Good work.
Just
Good work.
Yeah.
The Dodgers stink. Gerald stinks.
Oh, this old school football plays mad. Oh, is he mad?
Joe Soro, we need Sin Blades on your jerseys. Do we have your permission? Absolutely. Well, you gotta hook me up. Can you?
Is this Juan again, old school? Is this Juan? Is this guy who threatened to come over to Las Vegas to fart on me? So yeah, that's good. Yeah, I've got his name in my files as far as that. I've got the actual conversation.
Isn't that kind of gay?
Well, yeah, that was his exact words.
What the hell's the matter with you? What did that grown ass man talking about how he's gonna bust ass on another man? That's disgusting.
Yeah, it's just
come on, guys. You can be men here. We're this is a man show. This isn't a freak show. That's why we get very, very adamant about weird stuff. If you guys are gonna talk about bodily fluids and stupid shit like that, go to OnlyFans for that. We don't do that. We don't do OnlyFans stuff. We're men. We like women. We like them naked. We like them hot. Yes. But we don't like trash. That's trash. That's just disgusting. So just keep it in. Come on. Wait. Do better. Do better. With that. Yeah. A good way to end the show.
They get mad when they can't troll. They can't troll when they get mad that they can't troll the way they want to, and we shut them down.
It's just you're not going to win this, guys, and we're going to come with some logic. Joe Sor, can we get your NFL predictions? Can we get your thoughts on Baker Mayfield? So Baker Mayfield, I'm going to end it with this real quick. My NFL predictions, I'm going to say this. Kansas City is not done. Kansas City is starting to make another run. And Philadelphia might fall back into 2023 Philadelphia again. It's looking like it's starting to brew a little bit there. I don't know what the hell. They're so bipolar over there. I don't know what the hell happens. A couple bad weeks, all of a sudden they turn into mush. That's what happens in Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a horrible place sometimes when it's bad, especially when it's bad. Baker Mayfield, if he continues to play the way he's playing, might end up battling for the MVP. And Josh Allen losing tonight, because everyone was saying it might be Josh Allen winning the MVP again, not after the last couple of weeks. So I think it would be great, especially being a Steeler fan and seeing how the Cleveland Browns botched the Baker Mayfield future. That guy even won him a playoff game, for God's sakes, and they threw him out like trash. I would love, if it's not the Steelers, I would love for Baker Mayfield to win MVP and possibly win the championship. I think that would be hilarious. It would be fitting because they already had to watch Bill Belichick, whom they treated like shit, win 6 Super Bowls with New England when they had him. And then, of course, they had Nick Saban, too, on that staff, too. Don't forget. But with that, I want to thank Gerald for being here tonight. I want to thank everyone, all the regulars, all the new ones, even the trolls. Thank you for being here tonight. We went 3 hours. Didn't think I was going to go 3 hours, but I'm happy I did. Please like, subscribe, click the notification button. We're going to be on more than what I've been doing the last few months because there's going to be more activity with the Lakers, the Dodgers, and as well as football. So until then, good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. And until next time, I will see you next time.